Neon lights are like pulsating blood, piercing the ever-extinguishing night of the future city. Under the giant dome of the world's shocking science and technology exhibition, the air was filled with the pungent smell of metal and ionized ozone, and tens of thousands of eyes were fixed on the central stage. Mo Fan stood under the spotlight, cold sweat dripping from his forehead, his fingers trembling slightly on the edge of the console. His AI system, the Eye of Prediction, claims to be able to predict the trajectory of human behavior and rewrite the fate of war, crime, and even love. At this moment, a brilliant data stream was projected on the screen, and the audience burst into thunderous applause. This is the future. Mo Fan suppressed the panic rising in his heart, his voice slightly hoarse. It can read your every thought and predict your actions 3 seconds in advance. Under the stage, competitor Li Xiu leaned in the shadows with a sneer on his lips. Scientists around him whispered, "This kid Mo Fan is bragging again. His AI is just a showpiece. It has long been heard that it has flaws, and sooner or later it will make a fool of itself." Bai Ning, the exhibition curator, stood elegantly in the VIP area, his ice-blue eyes scanning the crowd, and the smile on his lips was as perfect as a mask. Suddenly, the AI core module made a low hum, like the panting of a beast. The screen flickered, and the data flow twisted into a strange vortex. Mo Fan turned pale and stretched out his hand to close it. Boom. Explosions ripped through the dome like thunder, flames engulfed the stage, and debris rained down. The screams instantly drowned out everything, and the smell of blood mixed with the stench of burnt circuits assaulted your nostrils. A reporter's chest was pierced by a sharp metal and he fell convulsing in a pool of blood. On the other side, a child was protected in the arms of his parents, with fragments scratching his arm and blood spraying on the flashing LED floor. The crowd fled like a swarm of frightened ants, the siren reverberated piercingly, and the red warning lights turned the entire exhibition hall into hell. "It's out of control. Mo Fan's AI is a bomb," someone screamed. Mo Fan sat slumped in the wreckage, his face covered in ashes and his eyes empty. The security guard rushed forward and pushed him to the ground. "You lunatic, you killed people." Li Xiu looked at him from a distance, with a hint of successful evil in his eyes. Bai Ning frowned and quietly retreated backstage. In the chaos, a black maglev police car tore through the night sky and stopped at the entrance. The car door slid open and Jiang Chen jumped out, the hem of his windbreaker making a rustling sound. His eyes were like a falcon, scanning the mess. There were several police officers behind him, but all of them looked tired. This was the norm for the high-tech crime team, which had just solved a hacking case last night. "Seal down the scene. No one is allowed to leave." Jiang Chen's voice was low but like a hammer, resounding throughout the exhibition hall. The police immediately took action and pulled up electromagnetic barriers, trapping tens of thousands of people in place. The audience complained, "We are victims, why are we being imprisoned? Who is the detective? He looks skinny, can he do it?" An old police officer whispered, "Captain, this scene is too big. There are thousands of explosion fragments and at least 20 injured. There is a lot of pressure from above. The mayor personally called to urge us." Jiang Chen turned a deaf ear and walked straight towards the core of the explosion. The pungent smell of burnt plastic filled the air, and his leather boots made a crunching sound as he stepped on broken glass. The surrounding police officers put on gloves and carefully picked up the evidence, but in a hurry, a circuit board slipped and was trampled to pieces. "Be careful," they scolded themselves. Mo Fan was handcuffed to a makeshift chair, his head lowered, sweat mixed with blood dripping down his face. Jiang Chen squatted down and scanned his face with his eyes like X-rays. "Mr. Mo Fan, why did your AI explode when thousands of people were watching?" Mo Fan's throat rolled and his voice trembled. I don't know, the system should be stable. I hit a small flaw, but it shouldn't." "Hidden flaws?" Jiang Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. The surrounding police officers gasped, and a young policewoman widened her eyes. "Captain, he admitted it. This is a deliberate crime." The crowd whispered, "Look, how young is that detective, 28. Mo Fan is a top inventor, what can he ask? Nonsense, this case is definitely an unsolved case, who knows about high technology? Jiang Chen ignored the taunt and turned around to walk towards the broken console. He stroked the burnt circuit board with his fingers, and brought his nose close to smell the strange chemical burnt smell, not the sweetness of a standard lithium battery explosion, but the sharpness mixed with sulfur. Abnormal, he muttered. He put on a special magnifying glass, and micron-level traces were reflected in his pupils. There were tiny solder joints on the circuit board, irregular, as if repaired in a hurry. The police officers looked around and shook their heads. Captain, it looks like it was overloaded and burned. Jiang Chen stood up and fixed his gaze on the corner of the exhibition hall, an inconspicuous ventilation grill with a dust-free surface, but under the flashing red light, it faintly reflected a strange luster. Jokes came from the crowd. What is he doing there? Is there a ghost in the corner? Get out of the way. Jiang Chen pushed aside the blocking security guard, knelt down on one knee, and used a multifunctional tool to pry open the grill. There was a harsh sound of metal rubbing against each other, and dust hit his face, carrying an old smell of mold and rot. Inside, a black device the size of a fist is embedded in a crack in the wall. Its surface is as precise as a work of art, and its red LED pulses slowly, like a peeping devil's eye. There was silence. The police officers came closer and their eyes widened. Is that a bug? High-end, military grade. The young policewoman's voice trembled and she almost dropped her phone. Oh my God, the technology exhibition was bugged. Who did it? Mo Fan raised his head suddenly and his pupils shrank. Impossible. I personally inspected this exhibition hall. Li Xiu was among the crowd in the distance, his expression changed slightly and his fists clenched quietly. Bai Ning's fingertips trembled slightly, but she quickly covered it up and turned around to whisper to the phone. Jiang Chen carefully took out the device, and the red light reflected on his stern face. He pressed the hidden button on the side, the device beeped slightly, and a recording played intermittently. High-level leaders planned to steal technology. Mo Fan's AI core, after it went out of control, it was perfectly covered up, DNA matching confirmed. The sound was fuzzy and mixed with static noise, but it shook the audience like a bomb. The audience gasped, and the whispers turned into buzzing exclaims. Stealing technology? Insider? Higher-ups? Who? Mayor? The old police officer's legs went weak and he slid against the wall. Captain, this is an international conspiracy level. Our team has never seen anything like this. The female police officer stared at Jiang Chen with admiration. How did you find out? We scanned it 10 times. Jiang Chen held the device in his palm, a cold light flashing in his eyes. The air seemed to be frozen, and the cold wind in the exhibition hall poured in from the damaged dome, bringing with it the fishy smell of rain outside the city. He turned around and looked directly at Mo Fan. This is not an accident. It is deliberate. Who is listening, who is planning? Now, the game begins. Mo Fan's lips trembled, fear and a hint of relief flashed in his eyes. Li Xiu quietly retreated and blended into the crowd. Bai Ning's smile was stiff and her eyes were like knives. Jiang Chen whispered and sent an encrypted communication to Yi Ji, come here. Decrypt this recording. The DNA matches. I smell a bigger shadow. In the distance, outside the dome, a swarm of drones hovered, and the night rain poured down. The last sentence of the recording echoed faintly. The murderous intention has been launched. The rain whipped like a whip on the cracks in the dome and seeped into the exhibition hall, forming pools of cold water that reflected the bloody light of the red warning lights. Jiang Chen's palm was wrapped around the black listening device, its surface was as cold as dead skin, and the pulsing red LED reflected between his fingers, as if a living thing was struggling. The police officers gathered in a circle, breathing rapidly. The smell of burnt plastic mixed with the mold and rot of rain in the air was nauseating. Captain, this thing, our scanner is not responding. The young policewoman rubbed her eyes, her voice trembling. Military grade? Who the hell can place such a monster here? The old police officer wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and murmured, "It's impossible. There is a security check on the third floor of the exhibition hall. Not even a nail can get through. This case is a mess." The mayor called again, saying that the international media is paying attention, and the FBI has asked questions. He glanced at Jiang Chen, his eyes suspicious. "Are you sure it's not an illusion? The dust in the corner is so thick." Behind the crowd, Li Xiu's face was hidden in the shadows, his Adam's apple rolled, and his fists were clenched until his knuckles turned white. Scientists around him whispered, "Then the detective is playing tricks, eavesdropping. Where's the evidence? Mo Fan's AI is the bomb, and he will take the blame." Bai Ning slowly approached, her silk dress splashing with water, and her high heels tapping the ground like her heartbeat. The smile on her lips was still there, but there was a hint of stiffness. Her ice-blue eyes glanced at the device in Jiang Chen's hand, and her pupils shrank slightly. Jiang Chen ignored the taunts around him, swung his windbreaker and cuffed Mo Fan's wrists. "Let's go back to the station. The scene is sealed and no flies are allowed to fly." Mo Fan staggered to his feet, his face as gray as corpse wax, and his blood-stained shirt clung to his body, exuding the smell of rust. I'm not a mole, officer, this is a frame-up." The maglev police car speeds through the rain, its engine roaring like a beast. In the back seat, Mo Fan curled up, the bug was placed in the isolation box, and the red light pulsed through the transparent wall. Jiang Chen was driving, and the veteran police officer in the co-pilot kept wiping his sweat. "Captain, this explosion killed people, injured more than 20 people, and the reporter's family is in trouble. If your bug is fake, our group will be finished." The police laboratory is hidden on the third floor underground. When the steel door slides open, the air is as cold as a tomb, fluorescent lights buzz, and the walls are covered with silver-gray heat insulation panels, reflecting cold blue light. The pungent sour smell of chemical reagents hits your face, mixed with the ionized ozone from electronic equipment. Yi Ji is already waiting. Her eyes are as sharp as knives behind her black-framed glasses. She is wearing a tight-fitting black dress. Her slender fingers are flying on the holographic keyboard, and the surrounding screens are flashing data streams. "Brother Chen, you're here." Yi Ji's voice was clear, and her ponytail swung out in an arc when she turned around. "I watched the live broadcast. The explosion was like a work of art, so clean. Give me the device." She put on anti-static gloves and took the box. The technicians around her came closer, but were scared away by her with a white eye. "Stand back. Is your scanner a toy? This is a quantum stealth coding, a military patent." The technicians looked at each other, and a fat police officer whispered in a low voice, "Ms. Yi went crazy again. Who has the final say about this female hacker?" "Captain Jiang loves her like crazy." Another person nodded, "Yes, we have tested the explosion debris 10 times, and it is overload." "DNA match? Sounds like science fiction." Jiang Chen stood against the wall, with his arms folded across his chest and his eyes locked on the holographic projection. Yi Ji put the eavesdropping device into the scanning cabin. The machine made a low roar and fired blue light. The surface coating peeled off like melting snow, revealing the core of the precise circuit. "Confirmed, Russian KGB old model modified, signal range 50 kilometers, self-destruction countdown 72 hours. She tapped her finger and played the entire recording. Her voice sounded like it crawled out of hell, hoarse and gloomy. "We must get the core algorithm of Mo Fan's eye of prediction. The top management has approved it, and the out-of-control explosion perfectly covered up the theft operation. DNA matching ensures the loyalty of the insider. Bai Ning's sample has been implanted and confirmed to be correct. After the killing plan is launched, all witnesses will be cleared." The laboratory fell silent for a moment. The technicians' eyes were wide open, as if they were seeing ghosts. The fat policeman's legs were weak and he knocked over the test tube rack. The glass shattered with a loud sound, and the acid splashed white smoke. Bai Ning. Curator. Isn't she a beauty? DNA mole. Damn it. The young technician's mobile phone slipped and hit the metal floor, making a hollow echo. Brother Chen, this recording, who is the senior executive? The International Consortium? We have stirred up a hornet's nest. Yi Ji pushed the frame, her face pale, her fingertips trembling slightly. Brother Chen, I traced the source of the signal, pointing directly to the hidden server behind the exhibition. There is a DNA database in it, with a matching rate of 99.9%, pointing to Bai Ning and Li Xiu. No, cross-matching, like relatives. She enlarged the projection, the spiral DNA chain rotated, and the red warning flashed. Jiang Chen raised his eyebrows and turned to the cubicle. Mo Fan was handcuffed to the interrogation chair. The light lengthened his shadow. Sweat beads slid down the bridge of his nose and dripped on the table, making a slight hissing sound. Mo Fan, did you hear the recording? Your AI was not an accident, it was a decoy. Who knows your hidden dangers? Mo Fan's throat was choked, his eyes were red and swollen, and his voice was intermittent. I admit that the eye of prediction has stability risks and will collapse when overheated. But I didn't leak the secret. A mole. Impossible, I assemble it myself and never outsource it. That bastard Li Xiu has been trying to poach me, but he doesn't have the skills to get into my core. He banged on the table, the shackles jingled, and his face was twisted. Police, you believe me, this is a frame-up. Outside the door, Bai Ning pushed open the door and entered, her high heels tapping like a bell. She was wearing a wet windbreaker, and the rain was dripping down her hair, exuding the scent of orchid perfume, but mixed with the fishy smell of earth after the rain. The smile on his lips was flawless, and his icy blue eyes swept over everyone. Captain Jiang, I heard that the investigation needs assistance. As the curator, I have full cooperation. The technicians gasped, and the fat police officer whispered, she is here, the mole mentioned in the recording. It's so weird, this woman smiles like a fox. Jiang Chen's gaze was like a blade, piercing her pupils. Miss Bai, the back-end server is under your jurisdiction. How do you interpret the DNA sample? Bai Ning's eyelashes fluttered, but she quickly recovered and sat down elegantly, her skirt sweeping the ground. Officer, you are too worried. The exhibition security is strict, and the server stores the biometric identification of the exhibitors, standard procedure. Dr. Li Xiu has just arrived, he can prove it. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Xiu strode in. His suit was straight, but he couldn't hide the bloodshot eyes. He pushed away the technician and spoke in a loud voice, Officer Jiang, you're talking nonsense. I, Li Xiu, am above board. I don't look down on Mo Fan's AI. It's full of flaws and should have been eliminated long ago. He glanced at Bai Ning, a strange look flashed in his eyes, and he clenched his fists at his sides. I saw the explosion with my own eyes, and it was definitely not an accident. Your police station's technology is lagging behind, so don't rant. Yi Ji sneered, tapping the keyboard, and the holographic screen projected an enlarged picture of the explosion debris. The irregular solder joints of the circuit board were like knife marks, and the sulfur scorch marks were distorted. Behind? Dr. Li, your paper mentioned vulcanizing agent stabilizers. We tested and found that the sulfur concentration in the wreckage exceeded the standard by 300%. It was not an overload, it was artificially injected into the remote control trigger. The technicians gasped, and the young technician murmured, oh my God, an accident has been ruled out, this is deliberate sabotage. How did Captain Jiang think of it? We tested wrong 10 times. Jiang Chen stepped forward slowly, tapping his fingers on the table with a rhythm like a countdown. Li Xiu took half a step back, sweat beading on his forehead, and his voice trembled slightly, absurd. Where is the evidence? Bai Ning tapped her fingertips on her knees, her smile stiffened, and the smell of perfume was suddenly as pungent as poison. Evidence. Jiang Chen raised his lips slightly, took out the fragments of the wreckage from the inner pocket of his windbreaker, and placed them on the scanning table. The blue light swept across and projected a microscopic image. Under the welding point, a nano-tracker was hidden, and the signal was directly connected to the eavesdropper frequency. This is not an accident. It is remote control intervention. Whose mobile phone just connected to the back-end server? The whole room was shocked. Yi Ji's eyes widened, and he whispered in admiration, "Brother Chen, it's amazing. Nano level, I can't even scan it." The fat police officer knelt down with weak legs and murmured, "Captain, are you a monster? Our team has not solved this kind of case in 10 years. Li Xiu's face turned pale, he backed up and hit the wall, making a muffled sound, his suit was wrinkled, and the smell of sweat filled the air. Mo Fan raised his head suddenly, with ecstasy and fear flashing in his eyes, "Prove my innocence. Li Xiu, you beast." Bai Ning stood up, swept the hem of her skirt, and a cold light flashed in her eyes, "Captain Jiang, wonderful. But the DNA match, may be a coincidence. I have the right to see a lawyer." She turned and left, and the sound of high heels echoed in the corridor, like a ghostly whisper. Jiang Chen stared at the projection, the DNA spiral slowly rotated, and the matching lines intertwined into a network. Coincidence? Yi Ji invaded the backstage and dug out the source of the samples. The voice of the senior executive. "I recognize the accent. The game has been upgraded." Yi Ji's fingers were flying, the screen flashed with intrusion codes, the sound of rain filtered in from the vents, and the laboratory lights flickered on and off. Outside the door, a drone buzzed and approached, and in the night, a black shadow flashed across, murderous intent, quietly approaching. Li Xiu wiped his sweat and muttered to himself, "It's impossible. I did the welding myself, but the remote control." His phone vibrated in his pocket, and an unknown message popped up, "Cleaning failed, Plan B is activated. DNA has been exposed." The steel door of the laboratory slid open with a bang, cold wind mixed with raindrops poured in, and the lights flickered like will-o'-the-wisps, reflecting the distorted faces of everyone. The fat police officer gasped and propped himself on the ground, sweat mixed with acid splashed into white mist, and the pungent smell of ozone rushed straight into his nose. The young technician's mobile phone fragments were scattered, and the blue screen flashed with the last data stream. Li Xiu slid to sit against the wall, his suit was soaked and clinging to his body, the smell of sweat mixed with the smell of rain. His throat was crawling, his eyes were fixed on Jiang Chen, and his pupils shrank like needlepoints. "You, why are you? Nano-tracker? Fake, all fake." His voice was as sharp as scraping iron, but he couldn't hide his trembling. Jiang Chen turned around, his eyes like an eagle. "Ji, there are more in the server. Bai Ning and Li Xiu are connected by blood. The tip of the iceberg of conspiracy." The air in the laboratory was stagnant, with the smell of sourness and sweat intertwined. Everyone's breathing was stagnant, waiting for the next bomb to explode. Yi Ji's fingers were frozen on the keyboard, and her black-rimmed glasses slid down the bridge of her nose. She turned to look at Jiang Chen, her voice low and admiring, "Brother Chen, how did you know that the phone was connected? Our whole team scanned it 10 times and found it missing." The technicians whispered, and the fat police officer murmured, "Weird. Captain Jiang is a monster. We haven't been able to figure out this case for 10 years, but he exposed it at a glance." Mo Fan struggled on the interrogation chair, the shackles jingled, and his bloodshot face twisted into ecstasy. "Evidence. Finally there is evidence. Li Xiu, get out." Jiang Chen was indifferent. The outline of a pistol loomed under his windbreaker. He glanced at the mobile phone in Li Xiu's pocket and hummed softly, "Plan B. Cleanup failed. Dr. Li, enough drama." Li Xiu suddenly bounced up and knocked over the instrument stand. The glass shattered like an ice explosion. The fragments scratched the back of his hand. Blood beads rolled down the metal floor, making a sizzling and corroding sound. "You're spitting blood. I'm going to sue you for slander." The drone droned and approached outside the door, its propellers cutting through the rain curtain, and its infrared scanning lights piercing the window cracks like the eyes of evil spirits. "Lock down the laboratory, everyone retreat," Jiang Chen shouted, with a voice like thunder. The police officers obeyed mechanically despite their weak legs. The fat police officer retreated and gasped, "Captain, the drone is military and carries ammunition. We don't have enough firepower." Jiang Chen threw out his windbreaker and grabbed the bug in the isolation box. The red LED pulse accelerated, and the self-destruction countdown jumped to 71 hours and 59 minutes. His fingers flew to press the hidden switch. With a click, the quantum coating peeled off, revealing the Bluetooth module, which was directly connected to the drone channel. Take over it. The source of the server is not here. Raid the backstage of the exhibition hall, now." On the streets on a rainy night, maglev police cars were speeding in formation, their tires tearing apart the water curtain, their engines roaring, shattering the streetlights, and glass fragments flying. Jiang Chen was driving the lead car, while Mo Fan was uncuffed and sitting in the back seat. The blueprint scroll was spread out on his lap, and the paper was wet and moldy. He gasped and explained, "Officer, the core of my eye of precognition is a neural network prediction module, and the hidden danger is the overheating radiator. But I encrypted the blueprint 3 layers, and the virus injection point is the remote API interface. Look, this line of code, the sulfur trigger is bound." Jiang Chen glanced at the rearview mirror, the corner of his mouth raised slightly. "Okay, prove your innocence. Now, live to witness the truth." Yi Ji's eyes widened, and her ponytail whipped like a whip. She rushed towards the holographic stage, her fingertips danced wildly with the code stream, and the screen flashed with sparks. "Brother Chen, amazing skill. The eavesdropping device has a backdoor. I hijacked the drone's signal, it's done." The drone's engine suddenly stalled, falling to the ground and cracking the cement. The fire went out in a flash, and the smell of burnt rubber filled the air. The technicians gasped, and the young technician knelt down and worshipped, "Sister Yi. Captain Jiang, are you gods? We have finished the team, this is a science fiction movie." The backstage of the exhibition hall is hidden in the underground passage. Rainwater pours from the cracked roof and merges into a black river, washing away the rusty iron fence and emitting gurgling ghostly cries. The air is rotten and smelly with motor oil, the fluorescent tubes hum intermittently, the walls are covered with cables like creeping vines, and the blue light pulses like a living snake. The policemen burst in with guns drawn, their boots splashed cold water, and the fat policeman gasped, "Captain, this place is like a tomb, the security gates are all broken." "Who came in?" The young policewoman rubbed her eyes and trembled. "The surveillance blind area, the server is so hot, it has just been restarted." Yi Ji knelt down to interface with the holographic terminal. Her black clothes were soaked close to her body. She inserted her slender fingers into the optical fiber port and electric current flowed through her body. She gritted her teeth, "Brother Chen, I broke the server's quantum encryption. The DNA database is being extracted." The screen flashed, the spiral chain rotated, matching the global database, 99.9% locked, Bai Ning. The projection enlarged her biological map, and her fingerprints, heart rate, and irises all matched. The policeman's eyes bulged, and the fat policeman lowered his muzzle. "Bai Ning? That vixen? The DNA spy's recording is real. We just let her go." At the end of the passage, high heels hit the water, and Bai Ning appeared slowly, her silk skirt splashing with water like blood, and her ice-blue eyes shining coldly in the shadow of the lamp. The pungent smell of perfume overcame the mold and rot, but her smile remained unchanged. "Captain Jiang, raiding the backstage at night? You are not shy. DNA sample. It's just left behind on the exhibit. It's a standard procedure for exhibitors to scan." She touched the wall cable with her fingers, and the cable trembled slightly, like a heartbeat. Jiang Chen stepped forward, shaking water droplets from his windbreaker like shotguns. He threw the blueprint in front of her, left behind. Yiji, dig deep. Yiji's forehead was dripping with sweat, his glasses were foggy, and his fingertips were bursting with blood. Brother Chen, I found it. Not only did the DNA match, but it also determined the bug activation code. Bai Ning's genetic sequence is the key to unlocking it. 30 seconds before the explosion, the server pushed the virus, sulfur was injected into the API, and Mo Fan's AI was overloaded. The projection flashed red warning, the code flow was intertwined with the DNA chain, and the evidence was ironclad. Bai Ning's eyelashes trembled, the cracks in her smile widened, and the smell of perfume turned sour and rotten, like a corpse. The policeman retreated, and the policewoman whispered, her face changed, like a ghost. Mo Fan rushed forward, pointed at her and yelled, the mole. You eavesdropped and framed me. Jiang Chen sneered, and the handcuffs locked her wrists with a click, deny. Also. Li Xiu's contact record, Yiji, pull it out. The screen scrolled chat logs and video screenshots. Bai Ning Li Xiu met late at night, their eyes were as close as blood relatives. Li Xiu's voice exploded from the darkness, and he burst out of the shadows. His suit was torn, his eyes were bloodshot, and his phone had a broken screen. He held tightly, stop. This is my server. Bai Ning is innocent. He rushed towards the terminal, punched the keyboard, sparks flew everywhere, and ozone exploded in his nose. The fat police officer pointed his gun at him, his legs shaking, Li Xiu. You obstructed the investigation, admit it. Li Xiu's eyes flickered, sweat poured down his face, and his voice broke, I'm just here to help, Mo Fan deserves to die, his AI garbage. Climax erupts. Jiang Chen took a step to stop Li Xiu, and pressed the gun against his forehead. The cold metal touched his skin, open testimony, Bai Ning, you are the mole. DNA implanted for eavesdropping, explosion cover-up to steal the core of the eye of precognition. Senior Russian source, you teamed up to betray the country and clean up the witnesses. The reporter will die in your hands. He pointed at the projection with his fingers, each clue was like a knife twisting, and the blueprint virus path, nano-tracking, and sulfur traces were all pieced together, and there was a mountain of ironclad evidence. The scene was deathly silent, and the sound of water flow was like the roar of heartbeats. Bai Ning collapsed, her perfect mask shattered, she screamed and threw away the handcuffs, her skirt torn to reveal the tattoo on her knee, the Russian word for loyalty, enough. In the past, my father was a KGB survivor, and Li Xiu was my brother. We stole technology for the consortium, but the explosion is my fault, the virus is my code. You win, Jiang Chen, you monster. With tears in her eyes and a smell as pungent as a broken perfume bottle, she slammed into the fat police officer, cut off the electric shock lock, and rushed deep into the passage. The sound of breaking high heels echoed like broken bones. The policeman stood dumbfounded, and the female policewoman knelt in the water, she admitted it. The mole is a brother and sister. Captain Jiang exposed it with one word, and we were all blind. Yiji pushed up the mirror and stood up, staring at Jiang Chen with admiration. Brother Chen, IQ is crushing. I didn't even think about DNA binding, how did you do it? Mo Fan burst into tears, holding the blueprint and kneeling in thanks, innocent. Captain, you saved my life. The fat police officer murmured, 10 years of soul building, Captain Jiang broke the game alone, God. Tongues of fire shot up from the remains of the server, and the orange-red light and shadow licked the damp and cold walls. The plastic smell of burnt cables was like the sulfur of hell, mixed with the smell of rust washed by rain. Deep in the passage, Bai Ning's black shadow has disappeared into the darkness, and the echo of broken high heels is like a breathless gasp, fading to nothing. The fat police officer coughed to extinguish the sparks, and his boots splashed black smoke. He opened his eyes wide and gasped, "Captain, she ran away." The passage leads to the subway network, and there are blind spots in the city. We don't have enough manpower. The young policewoman swung her gun around, rain dripping down the barrel, her voice trembled like tears. "That monster Bai Ning, the cuffs are broken, KGB blood. We can't catch up." Jiang Chen let go of Li Xiu's collar and let him collapse back into the puddle. The broken glass scratched his suit, and the blood and water were red. He squatted down and picked up the invisible chip that slipped out of Li Xiu's pocket. The red light pulsed like the beating of a heart. When his fingertips touched the cold metal, there was a faint buzzing and low-frequency vibration that penetrated into the bone marrow. "Plan B, kill me." Jiang Chen whispered. The outline of the pistol under his windbreaker was tight, and he turned to Ji, block the exit, scan the white condensation image. "Mo Fan, you guard Li Xiu, I will get the chip." Mo Fan nodded. The blueprint was rolled up on his knees, he clenched his fist and looked at him fervently. "Captain, I will follow you." "Li Xiu, your sister sold you, it is your turn to answer." Li Xiu curled up in a puddle, raindrops hit his face from the crack in the top, his bloodshot eyes turned white, and he laughed intermittently like convulsions. "Jiang Chen, you won this game." "Ha, Bai Ning is crazy, she betrayed the family." "But where is the evidence?" The server exploded, all gone. The fat policeman dragged him to his feet, the shackles bit his wrists and made a metallic grinding sound. The police officers whispered and hummed, "Li Xiu is done, the brother-sister relationship has been exposed, but Bai Ning is gone. Ning escaped, the case is over." Yi knelt down to connect to the backup terminal, her black-framed glasses were filled with fog, her fingertips were still bloodshot, and she tapped the holographic keyboard as if playing a piano. The screen flashed with code rain, "Brother Chen, the thermal image of the channel." Bai Ning turned to the east line drainage pipe, the drone followed. "But Li Xiu's private server, I hacked." "Wait, the file, eavesdropping plan." "Point to Mo Fan." The scene was deathly silent, and the gurgling water was like a ghost mocking. Mo Fan's face turned pale. The blueprint slipped from his knees and splashed with water. He retreated and hit the wall. The cables were wrapped around his feet like a snake. "Me? Self-directed and self-acted? Impossible. My API is encrypted at 5 levels. Who can get in?" The police officer's eyes changed. The fat police officer moved his gun slightly and muttered, "Dr. Mo. The document said that you implanted a sulfur virus and committed suicide. Covering up the illegal selling of black market algorithms." The young policewoman rubbed her eyes and whispered, "Oh my God, what a twist. Captain Jiang, did you arrest the wrong person?" After hearing this, Li Xiu got up and the rain washed away his bloody face. He smiled ferociously. "Look. Mo Fan's AI flaw, he concealed overheating, and brought it on himself. I have an alibi at home, and the video is all recorded." Jiang Chen's eyes were like a knife, ignoring the commotion. He grabbed the chip and inserted it into Yi's terminal. The red light flashed, and the projection showed the flow of funds, unknown account, transferred from the Bank of Russia to Li Xiu's laboratory. Bai Ning signed for €5 million, and the timeline coincided with the eve of the explosion. The engine roared outside the police car, the magnetic levitation tires tore through the rain curtain, and the reinforcement queue broke into the passage. The car lights were as dazzling as the eyes of a hound. But Jiang Chen raised his hand to stop and said coldly, "Escape first, the fire is spreading. Ji, copy the files, Lamafan Black Market Records. Li Xiu, see you in the interrogation room." He turned around, shaking water droplets from his windbreaker like snowflakes, stepping over the charred remains, and the soles of his boots crushed the chip shell, revealing the hidden chip, the global satellite channel mark, pointing to the Aurora Consortium. The police convoy speeds through the city on a rainy night. The neon lights on the high-rise buildings pulsate like blood. Sparks from the magnetic rails cut through the water curtains. The engine roars and shatters the roadside advertising screens, and the debris pours down like ice rain. Jiang Chen was driving the lead car, and the rearview mirror reflected the shackled figure of Li Xiu. He was pushed into the back seat by a fat police officer, his face pressed against the car window, and the rain strips distorted his sinister smile. Mo Fan sat in the passenger seat, holding the blueprint in his fist, his knuckles turning white. "Captain, that file. I didn't direct it. The AI core algorithm is a DNA database bought on the black market, specifically for predictive neural networks. But I encrypted it and didn't sell it." Yiji gasped in the communication channel, her car followed, her voice suppressed and excited. "Brother Chen, the details of the eavesdropping plan in the depths of Li Xiu's server, Bai Ning's assistant was implanted during his tenure, and the fund transactions were hidden on an offshore island. But the traces of forged documents and misplaced timestamps pointed to Mo Fan's self-destruction. Who framed it? In the underground interrogation room of the headquarters, the steel walls are as soundproof as a tomb, the air is stagnant and pungent with disinfectant, and the buzzing fluorescent lights cast long shadows. Li Xiu was tied to an interrogation chair, and the shackles made a low grinding sound when they were embedded in his flesh. His suit was torn, and the blood stains were dried and cracked like old wounds. His suit and tie were loose and exposed the veins on his neck. "Captain Jiang, you were frightened in the middle of the night." Li Xiu pretended to be depressed, his eyes flickering. "I'm innocent, crazy woman Bai Ning, she stole my data when she was an assistant." Explosion. Mo Fan's AI flaw. "I have proof, home surveillance, I was at home all night," neighbors testified. Projected video, Li Xiu's sofa, TV broadcast technology exhibition, perfect timestamp. But the fat police officer came in, his face livid. "Captain, we checked, the video frame rate is abnormal, composite." But the neighbor's testimony really said that he saw the light from his window. The police officers were whispering, and the policewoman whispered. Li Xiu escaped. Mo Fan was suspected of being promoted to Captain Jiang. Is he trapped this time? In the observation room next to Mo Fan, his pale face was reflected in the glass wall. He punched the steel door and said in a muffled voice, "I bought the DNA on the black market and hid it for fear of exposure. But the virus sulfur is an extrapolation. Captain, trust me." Jiang Chen leaned against the wall, the dripping water from his windbreaker forming a small puddle. He tapped the chip fragments with his fingers, and the low-frequency buzz was like the whisper of an inner demon. Yiji rushed in, holding a holographic tablet, her glasses slipped on the tip of her nose, and her ponytail was wet. "Brother Chen, dig deep into Li Xiu's funds, Bai Ning's assistant for 5 years, an unknown 5 million, all went into the Aurora Consortium sub-account." But the second DNA sample match. Li Xiu and Bai Ning, 99.99% blood. They are brother and sister, but their father was a foreigner from the KGB, and there is a third person in the maternal line. The global database has locked the genetic fragment of the CEO of the consortium. The air in the room was frozen, and Li Xiu's throat froze. His grin froze, and beads of sweat rolled down his forehead and hit the table, making a slight hissing sound. The fat police officer's eyes were bulging, and the handle of his gun was white. "Brother and sister plus CEO. Oh my God, this is an international conspiracy." The female police officer leaned against the door with her legs weak. "Captain Jiang, you knew earlier? Document forgery, Li Xiu's video synthesis, how did you put it together?" Jiang Chen ignored it and stepped closer to Li Xiu. The muzzle of the gun lightly touched his chin. The cold metal stung his skin. Li Xiu's pupils shrank, and the faint smell of urine filled the air. Alibi, frame rate offset by 0.02 seconds, synthesis software, Phantom 3.0, watermark, your home surveillance was hacked, neighbor. Hypnotic potion smoked the windows, hallucination testimony. Mo Fan's motive? The black market DNA is valuable, but he did not sell it. The API log is clean, the sulfur virus path springboard from your server. Li Xiu's face turned gray, and the puddle under the steel chair expanded. He trembled. You, monster. Aurora Consortium? That's a rumor, a Russian-American joint venture, stealing global technology. Jiang Chen snorted coldly, pressed the chip, and the projection exploded. Satellite map, pulsating red dot connection exhibition hall, Li Xiu's laboratory, Bai Ning's apartment, pointing directly to the underground fortress of the Arctic Circle, the headquarters of the Aurora Consortium, the hub of the global eavesdropping network. The police officers gasped, and the fat police officer murmured, Arctic? Military grade, we can't afford to offend. Captain Jiang, divine calculation. Yi Ji pushed up the mirror and stared adoringly. Brother Chen, I will dig for the second DNA match for a day, and you can rule out Mo Fan at a glance, the CEO of Bloodline Triangle Lock, outwit the whole team. When Mo Fan heard from the next door, he broke down in tears and sweat. He knelt down and knocked on the steel door. Prove your innocence again. Captain, AI saves the exhibition, I will follow. But Jiang Chen's eyes were gloomy, the red light of the chip pulsed faster, and new information emerged. Plan B upgrade, Jiang Chen's DNA sample, matched with the eye of precognition, and wiped out the whole family. Outside the window on a rainy night, thunder exploded, lightning reflected the city towers, drones circled in black shadow, and infrared eyes locked on the headquarters. The fat police officer trembled with his gun. Captain, external threat. Counterattack by the consortium? Li Xiu laughed wildly with blood. It's too late, Jiang Chen, you exposed the brother and sister, but you didn't know that the Aurora network has been launched, and Bai Ning is just a pawn. The higher-ups are targeting you. Li Xiu was paralyzed, and the final message popped up on his broken phone. Plan B, kill Jiang Chen. He laughed wildly and cried, Bai Ning, you betrayed me. Jiang Chen's eyes were like a hawk. He grabbed his collar and raised it. She said you were behind the scenes. Hunt down Li Xiu, the whole team is dispatched. Game, upgrade. In the rain, the police car engine roared again, the white and black shadow at the end of the passage disappeared, and the flames of the drone's wreckage reflected the night sky red. The back-end servers roared with overload, flames licked the cables, and the burning smell filled the sky. A bigger shadow slipped out of Li Xiu's pocket, an invisible chip, pulsating red light, pointed at an unknown high-level person. The murderous intention is lingering around. In the lobby of the headquarters, the monitoring screen flashed and exploded with alarms. The live broadcast of the Global Science and Technology Exhibition was interrupted, and hacker viruses spread like ink. Mo Fan rushed out of the observation room, holding up the blueprint. Captain, my AI prediction, the consortium will step down, the false flag will explode, blame you. Jiang Chen nodded, slightly raised the corner of his mouth, but smelled a strange smell in the air. Colorless poisonous gas seeped in from the vents, and it was sweet and pungent. The fat police officer coughed and collapsed, and the policewoman rubbed her eyes. Poison, Plan B. Jiang Chen swung his gun and exploded the air valve. Everyone wrapped in windbreakers retreated, and the sound of gunshots echoed like war drums. Yi Ji pounced on the terminal, and the code stream danced wildly. Brother Chen, the molecular formula of the poison gas, the old KGB formula, Bai Ning signs for it. The rain fell violently, and the police car drove by again. Jiang Chen was driving. Li Xiu was drugged and passed out in the back seat. The red light of the chip reflected on his face like a will-o'-the-wisp. In the outer ring of the city, there are many towers, a hidden floating platform descends, and the Aurora Consortium's logo flashes. The golden eagle holds the earth in its claws. The communication sounded, and the Russian voice was low. Jiang Chen, stop. The eye of foresight belongs to us. Otherwise, your DNA has been matched, and we will be hunted by the whole city. Jiang Chen sneered, pressed the chip to self-destruct, and sparks exploded. Come on. Senior management, show up. In the thunder and lightning, the muzzles of the floating platform were fired, the energy beam tore through the night sky, the police car rolled over into the puddle, and flames shot into the sky. In the embers of fire in the passage, Jiang Chen threw his windbreaker and went out. The rain whip slapped his face like a knife. He grabbed the communicator, the whole team, turned to Aurora clues. Mo Fan, guard the home, Ji, prepare the quantum decoder. The game, global level. Yi Ji caught up with her, her black clothes were wet against the curves, she gasped, Brother Chen, Arctic the fortress has a quantum shield, we can't get in. The police officers followed mechanically, with fanatical eyes like believers, and the policewoman whispered, Team Jiang is one person, what does the consortium mean? But in the darkness, the invisible drone buzzed and approached, shooting red light like a death scythe, and murderous intent spread quietly from the Arctic ice sheet. The sewage in the sewer was boiling like ink, and the pungent smell of sulfur mixed with iron and rust rushed straight into his nose. Jiang Chen's windbreaker was torn at the shoulders, and the exposed gun barrel was as red as molten iron. He was lying in the mud, the rain hitting his head was like thousands of needles piercing the bones, the energy beam from the floating platform passed by his ears, and the debris from the ditch wall exploded like shotgun blasts. The fat police officer climbed out of the overturned police car, his face covered with blood. His muzzle trembled and his voice cracked like a cry, Captain. The Golden Eagle platform quantum shield, our bullets can't even scratch the skin. They are all wiped out. The young policewoman dragged Mo Fan's legs and subdued her with mud and water. She coughed up black phlegm, and her pupils dilated in fear, the drone's red eyes are locked, Plan B is to kill the whole family, Brother Chen, we have become prey. Yi Ji curled up on the edge of the ditch, the code stream of the hacker's tablet screen shattered, her ponytail was wet against the hollow of her neck, her bloodshot fingertips tapped the broken keys, panting intermittently, Brother Chen, the signal hijacking from the floating platform failed, the Russian voice threatened, Jiang Chen's DNA matches the prophetic eye, they will hunt the whole city. Mo Fan punched the wall of the ditch, the blueprint was soaked in mud, and he roared, my AI is being used as a weapon. Captain, the fortress projection, Arctic quantum shield, the global satellite network is activated, we can't escape. The platform's Golden Eagle logo pulsed, the energy beams were like thunder whips, the evaporated sewage turned into mist, and the heat wave burned the skin and blistered. The policemen ran away with their heads in their hands, and the fat policeman's legs slipped and fell, it's over, the consortium has munitions grade, what's the point of Captain Jiang alone? Jiang Chen's eyes were as sharp as a razor, and he ignored the noise of despair. He took a deep breath of muddy air and pieced together the trajectory in his mind. The energy beam gap was 0.8 seconds, and the platform thruster's low-frequency hum was offset by 0.02 Hz. He rolled over and grabbed the broken cable from the edge of the ditch, throwing it into the air like a whip shadow. The arc flash interfered with the infrared lock. The muzzle of the platform froze. He jumped out of the mud ditch and fired 3 rounds from his pistol. The trajectory of the bullet was predicted and the gap in the shield was curved, bang. The energy shield cracked like a glass spider, debris rained down, and the platform's engine whined and tilted toward the tall tower forest. The fat police officer's eyes bulged, and his bloody face twisted in admiration, Captain, predicted the shield's weakness. God! We thought we were dead. The female police officer collapsed in tears and knelt down. One person is floating on the platform, the monster is Jiang Chen. Yi Ji pushed the mirror, her hands trembling in admiration, Brother Chen, did you calculate the frequency of cable interference? Intelligent quantum AI. But Jiang Chen jumped out early and rolled into the gutter. His windbreaker tore to reveal his gun. He shot with his backhand, and the energy shield shattered like glass. The policeman climbed out of the disabled car, and the fat policeman worshipped with blood on his face, Captain, did you predict? God! Yi Ji dragged Mo Fan, and the hacker's tablet flashed the code, Brother Chen, the floating platform signal is being hijacked, Consortium CEO, third DNA match, Bai Ning's father, no, it's a clone. A bigger shadow, behind the floating platform, a black hole-like fortress projection emerged, the global satellite network pulsated, and murderous intent came like a tide. In the underground spare room of the headquarters, the steel door is sealed like a tomb, the air is stagnant and the disinfectant is pungent, and the fluorescent lights buzz and cast long shadows. Yi Ji worked overtime in front of the terminal, her black-rimmed glasses filled with mist. Her fingertips danced on the holographic keyboard like a wild piano, and the code rain flashed on her pale face. Brother Chen, the high-definition DNA comparison is out. Li Xiu Bai Ning's separated brother and sister, 99.99% consistent. Bai Ning's assistant implanted a black eavesdropping device, and KGB quantum coding her DNA decryption lock, record the high-level stolen AI conversation. Li Xiu led the injection of the sulfur virus, and the remote API springboard was faked to cause Mo Fan to self-destruct. She gasped and pushed the camera, her ponytail flicked, and she trembled excitedly, the third person from the maternal line, the genetic fragment of Aurora CEO. The clone blood is locked, but the Arctic Fortress data is encrypted, and the quantum shield blocks me for 3 hours. The fat police officer escorted Li Xiu in. The shackles on his wrists were bloodshot. He shook his head and smiled ferociously. Perjury. Miss G, you hacked my server and I backed up the timestamp already. The young policewoman rubbed her eyes and whispered, the DNA brother and sister are irrefutable evidence. But Li Xiu, you are so stubborn, how can Captain Jiang break it? Jiang Chen leaned against the wall, his windbreaker dripping with mud. He tapped the chip fragments with his fingers, and the low frequency buzzed like a demon. Backup? You forgot to delete the Phantom 3.0 watermark. Li Xiu's face stiffened, and beads of sweat rolled on the table. Yi Ji stared at Jiang Chen with admiration. Brother Chen, you had locked it in long ago. The brother and sister colluded. I verified the virus path, and recorded all the IP springboards of Li Xiu's company. Return to the scene. Jiang Chen threw off his windbreaker and went out. Before the rain stopped, he drove a maglev police car to tear through the night, and the tire sparks streaked the water curtain like blood tracks. The remains of the explosion exhibition hall, embers of flames licking the walls wet, burnt plastic sulfur smelling in the nose, and rusty rainwater forming a river of blood. The fat policeman's flashlight was swinging wildly, and the broken glass squeaked under his boots. He trembled. Captain, it's been dark for 2 hours, and the fire alarm has been blocked. Bai Ning escaped on the east front without a trace, and the consortium's drone crashed, and our hands are disabled. The policewoman's gun barrel was dripping, and she whispered in panic, second attack. Plan B to kill the person, the scene is dangerous. Jiang Chen ignored it and crouched down to scorch the server pile. His fingertips pulled away the twisted cables, revealing the hidden fragments of the mini-bomb. The nano-tracker was welded irregularly and the sulfur exceeded the standard by 300%. It was artificially controlled. He pinched the fragment, the red light pulsed like a heartbeat, the metal was bone-cold, and the low frequency vibrated into the marrow. Deliberate sabotage, not overheating. The fat police officer glared, and his flashlight dropped and splashed with mud. Captain, it's hidden under 3 layers of cables. It's a blind spot for the naked eye, how do you dig it? The female policeman leaned against the pillar with her legs weak, her voice trembling, iron-proof. Li Xiu remotely controlled the explosion. Framing Mo Fan, Jiang Chen, God's eye. Jiang Chen snorted and stuffed the fragments into his pocket. G, the scan matches the alloy seal of Li Xiu's laboratory. Yi Ji screamed excitedly during the communication, it's locked. The same batch of military nanometers, bought with Russian bank funds. In Mo Fan's experimental room, the blue light AI prototype buzzed to restart, and the ionized ozone in the air was pungent. He held the control lever in his fist, and his shirt was wet with sweat. Captain, repair is in progress, the backdoor program jumped out. Pointing to the server of Li Xiu's company, the sulfur virus was implanted into the API to fake my black market DNA and steal it. The prototype screen exploded, and his face turned pale and he was ecstatic, innocent. But the backdoor self-destruction countdown will be triggered twice within 72 hours. The fat police officer came in and heard the news, and rolled his eyes in admiration. Dr. Mo's comeback. Captain Jiang woke up with a word and returned to digging for bombs. We were busy. Mo Fan knelt down and knocked on the table. Captain, AI is dedicated to you. Li Xiu is done. The clue wall of the headquarters, the holographic projection pulses like a neural network, and Jiang Chen pieced it together with his own hands. The DNA of the eavesdropper is white, the virus path is Li Xiu, the bomb alloy Russian bank funds, the video synthetic watermark, and the poison gas KGB signature. The pen traced the red line on the wall, locking Li Xiu's avatar with a red pulse. Preliminary lock, mastermind. Yiji dragged her legs in, the tablet was hot, she threw herself against the wall, her glasses slid down her nose and she gasped in admiration. Brother Chen, the wall fights God. Brother and sister are the mole, the master of the virus. Guide, bomb remote control. I worked overtime for 3 days, and you connected me at a glance. Bai Ning just surrendered to the waiting room. The fat police officer rubbed the butt of his gun and trembled. Surrender? She is a monster with KGB blood. Captain Jiang, you control the game. The steel wall of the interrogation room is silent. Bai Ning is sitting in handcuffs. The tattoo of loyalty in Russian is bulging with veins. Her face is as pale as paper, and her high heels are broken and missing corners. She lowers her head and raindrops drip from her hair. Her voice is as broken as crying. Captain Jiang, I was coerced by Li Xiu. He planted a wiretap when he was an assistant. I have no choice but to unlock my DNA. Explosion, he controlled the virus. I ran away because I was afraid of being silenced. The young policewoman whispered outside the door, pretend to be pitiful. She signed the poison gas, broke the handcuffs and escaped. Letter. Jiang Chen stepped in, the outline of the gun was tight, and he threw the photo table. Bomb fragments. Her eyes narrowed and sweat rolled down her throat. That. Li Xiu's. I don't know. Yi Ji rushed into the flat-screen projector's capital flow. 5 million euros, you sign for it. Brother and sister are still together, hiding the key. Bai Ning bit her bloodshot lips, the air smelled of sweet and residual poison. The CEO, his father's clone, I only know that there is a backdoor in the Arctic fortress. Mo Fan got up and punched his chest with ecstasy. I'm following you. The consortium collapsed. Jiang Chen shook the water droplets and said coldly, evacuate, the second line of the headquarters. Ji, copy the remaining news from the platform. Mo Fan, repair the AI prototype. Li Xiu gets motion sick, escort him away. The wreckage of the police car was dragged out, and the queue was speeding through the rain. The rearview mirror reflected the fireball from the platform falling from the tower and exploding, with orange flames licking the tall buildings like devil's claws. Neon distorted the water curtain in the outer ring of the city, the roar of the engine shattered the street lights, and the debris flew across like ice blades. Suddenly, the holographic wall alarm went off, and Li Xiu publicly challenged the live broadcast to break in. Are the shackles loose on his sofa? There was no trace of the video synthesis, and he smiled with a bloody face. Jiang Chen, the science and technology exhibition will explode twice, within 72 hours. The Eye of Prediction will be destroyed, and the Aurora network will be activated. You must fight quickly, otherwise, the whole city will be buried with you. The big screen of the live broadcast of the Global Science and Technology exhibition flashed, Neon distorted his ghostly smile, and the audience buzzed and panicked. Yi Ji's fingertips spurted blood on the keyboard, synthetic. But the IP Global Satellite jumps, Arctic counterattack. Mo Fan held up the blueprint, the AI prediction is consistent, false flag to blame. The fat policeman's gun trembled, second explosion. Li Xiu is broadcasting live in prison, the consortium is hunting. Team Jiang, we are panicking. Jiang Chen raised his lips slightly, grabbed the chip fragment and inserted it into the wall, and the red light flashed and locked on the pulsation of the Arctic red dot. Quick decision. Ji, quantum decoding equipment. Mo Fan, I antivirus network. Bai Ning, lead the way fortress. Bai Ning's eyes flashed with a strange light, and the key to concealing it was like a secret thorn buried in his heart, the cloned CEO's real body, the identity of the Russian and American top executives. But outside the rainy window, thunder exploded, a swarm of invisible drones approached with red eyes, their buzzing was as low as the whisper of death, the global satellite network surged with murderous intent, and the countdown to the second crisis began. Yiji pounced on Jiang Chen's arm, her ponytail trembling in admiration. Brother Chen, defy the heavens. One person controls the world. Mo Fan swore with his fist, follow me. In the darkness, the projection of the fortress expanded, the black hole swallowed up the city light, and the Aurora Eagle's claws gripped the earth, quietly tightening. The steel walls of the interrogation room buzzed like the heartbeat of a tomb, the air was sticky with the lingering scent of white urine and sweet poisonous gas, and the fluorescent tubes flickered, casting distorted figures. Li Xiu's ghostly laugh during the live broadcast was still echoing on the holographic wall. His bloody face was distorted on the big screen of the Global Science and Technology exhibition, and the audience was buzzing with panic like a bursting honeycomb. The fat police officer tapped the handle of his gun on the ground, his sweat hitting his boots. His legs were weak and he leaned against the door, panting like an ox. Captain, 72 hours for the second explosion. Li Xiu's live broadcast loosened the shackles, synthesized. Our headquarters' invisible drone approached with red eyes and buzzed through the wall. The man's hand was broken, and the quantum shield can't stop the consortium's satellite network. The young policewoman picked up blood on her palms, and the red dots reflected in her eyes were pulsing. She said with a trembling voice, Brother Chen, the projection of the Arctic fortress is swallowing up the light. Bai Ning's treacherous eyes are hiding thorns, leading the way. Do you believe in her KGB bloodline? All of them will be destroyed. Yiji fluttered at Jiang Chen, her black-framed glasses with foggy ponytail stuck to her neck. The blood stains on her fingertips were pressed on the tablet, and the code stream flashed on her pale face. Brother Chen, the live IP satellite jump is confirmed to be synthesized, but the virus backdoor self-destructs in 71 hours. Li Xiu's laboratory has a 3-layer quantum lock on security. It will take 15 minutes for me to be paralyzed. The infrared thermal scan of the drone group has locked the heat source of the headquarters. Mo Fan smashed his fist on the glass next door, and the blueprint crumpled into a ball. He roared with a cracked throat, Captain, he is responsible for my AI flaw. The sulfur in the back door triggers a false self-destruction, and the whole world is targeting my black market DNA. Attack, destroy his server. Bai Ning sat down and lowered her head, tattooing the word loyalty on her veins. She made the table sizzle with raindrops and sobbed, the black tower in the eastern suburbs of Li Xiu's laboratory, I know the back door. But he set a trap, and the nano-bomb swarm will evaporate when touched. Jiang Chen's eyes were like an abyss, ignoring the noise and despair. He used his fingers to dial the chip and the red light pulsed, and the low frequency vibrated into the palm of his hand like the whisper of an inner demon. The clues on the wall showed the portrait of Li Xiu with a red lock on the internet. He took a deep breath of the disinfected and pungent air, and flashed in his mind, virus API springboard, bomb alloy Russian silver seal, eavesdropping DNA white condensation binding, live broadcast phantom watermark misplacement the whole Arctic eagle claw. The windbreaker was dripping with mud, and he said coldly, 10 points of repair. G, prepare the quantum decoding package. Mo Fan, the AI antivirus module is online. Fatty, prepare 3 magnetic levitation armored vehicles, and the EMP pulse gun is fully loaded. Female, blockade Dongjiao Road network. Everyone's eyes widened, and the fat policeman dropped his flashlight and rolled on the ground. Captain, the drone is buzzing close to the wall, and you still take stock. God is determined. The policewoman collapsed and knelt down in tears and sweat. One person can control the chaos, monster Brother Chen. The underground spare room was as quiet as a blind eye for a short period of time. The steel door was sealed and locked, and the smell of ozone ionization mixed with mud and rain hit your nostrils. Jiang Chen opened the pockets of his windbreaker and spread out the spoils, the burnt quantum coating scales of the eavesdropping device, the irregular welding of nano-bomb fragments, the red dot of the chip locking the North Pole, the broken screen of Li Xiu's mobile phone, Plan B to kill Jiang Chen. Yiji knelt down and projected a holographic code rain. She shook her ponytail and sweated, and danced with her fingertips. Brother Chen, upgrade. DNA binding analysis. Bai Ning's gene is implanted into the eavesdropping chip, loyalty lock, brother and sister blood resonance, automatic virus push, record the full dialogue of high-level executives, Aurora Network steals AI core, explosion cover-up. The projection revealed a Russian bank capital flow of 5 million euros, Bai Ning's signature revealed, Fatty the police officer rubbed his eyes and bulged, Sister Ji is horrified. We thought it was a dead end, and you took stock of the situation. The blueprint of Li Xiu's laboratory has emerged, 3-layer quantum shield plus nano swarm. Mo Fan punched the prototype and buzzed, and the AI's blue eyes scanned the back door. He was ecstatic and choked with joy, the defect patch is online. The path of the sulfur virus locked Li Xiu's IP and faked my overheating and self-explosion. Captain, this AI is dedicated to you to outwit the world. Mo Fan heard this from next door and punched the glass frantically, confession from the mole. Captain, the AI backdoor verified Li Xiu. Jiang Chen's eyes were gloomy and he pressed Bai Ning's shoulder. It was cold and bone-chilling. She was trembling and her urine was filled with odor, coercion. Timeline, you signed the poison, the night before I was angry. Bai Ningfen cried, believe me, the second explosion was his plan. The fat policeman looked up and worshipped, Captain Zhang's game, the devil's move. Divine pressure. The policewoman's legs were weak and worshipped, one question will expose you, and your IQ will be crushed. The maglev police car tore through the rain curtain, tire sparks scratched the bloody track and splashed neon lights, and the roar of the engine shattered the glass of the street lamp and ice blades flew across the street. The black tower in the eastern suburb stands like a tombstone, with thunder and lightning licking the rusty outer shell, the smell of sulfur mixed with burnt plastic, and sewage boiling in the gutters at the base of the tower. The fat police officer's steering wheel trembled, and the rain hit the wind like a hammer. Captain, the tower security red network pulses, the quantum shield blocks the EMP. The drones are following 10, the red eyes lock on the heat source. Yiji's hot melt fingers on the tablet in the back seat, her ponytail trembled when she pushed the mirror, and the code rain flashed, paralyzed. The first layer of firewall is broken, the frequency of the second layer of quantum lock is shifted. Brother Chen, rush to the east side of the blind window in 5 seconds. Jiang Chen jumped on the roof of the car, hunting in his windbreaker, the blue arc pulse of the EMP gun blasted out, the red web was like a rain of spider-splitting fragments, and the steel plate of the tower door twisted and screamed. The inner hall is as cold as a tomb, with fluorescent green light casting long shadows. The air is stagnant and chemically sweet, and the server tower is buzzing and the heat wave is blistering the skin. Bai Ning's accomplice, the muscular technician, lay at the desk, his arm tattooed with a Russian eagle violent. He grabbed the nano syringe and turned around with a grin, Jiang Chen. Bai Ning sells you, Plan B is upgraded. The fat policeman rushed forward with trembling guns, kneel down. The strong man flicked the needle and sprayed mist, and the poisonous gas went up his nose. The policewoman coughed black phlegm and fell to the ground with eyes wide open, poison. The old KGB method. Jiang Chen rolling to dodge, his mind predicted the trajectory for 0.3 seconds, and his knee hit the strong man's throat. He pressed his hands to the ground and shouted coldly. Li Xiu manipulated the process, vomited. The strong man coughed up blood, and his eyes bulged in fear. Bai Ning's DNA binding. The brother-sister chip was implanted in her assistant period, and the loyalty resonance eavesdropped on high-level conversations. Viral sulfur was injected into Mo Fan's AI. Application Programming Interface, Remote Springboard Fake Self-Destruction, covering up the core blueprint, Aurora Network Global Satellite Secret Theft. Jiang Chen nodded and grasped the loaded EMP gun. The metal was cold and biting. He whispered and calculated the trajectory in his mind. The buzz frequency of the drone was offset by 0.05 Hz, and the laboratory security blind spot was the East Tower drainage ditch. After the improvement, the strength is like a sword unsheathed. Everyone stared in admiration, and the policewoman threw her legs weakly to the ground. Brother Chen, 10 points to control the whole audience, we are following the gods. The door burst open, thunder and rain whips smashed the windows, and the invisible drone approached through the fog with its red eyes, its buzzing as low as the whisper of death. Jiang Chen slammed the door. Assault. The server is deep inside, the cables are twisted, the floor is slippery, and the ozone is pungent and mixed with blood. Li Xiu appeared behind the steel door, with a bloody face and fake scars. He flicked his white robe to reveal the red light pulse of the nano remote control. Jiang Chen, you're late. Mo Fan AI has a fatal flaw, the overheated core has no shield, sulfur only catalyzes, I have all the evidence. The holographic explosion showed the old files of Mo Fan's prototype, the overheating red alarm flashed, and the audience was buzzing with doubts during the live broadcast. The fat police officer's muzzle trembled. Li Xiu's true identity? The live broadcaster's sofa is a decoy, defective evidence, is he innocent? Yi Ji pushed the mirror and pointed at the blood, fake file. The watermark is misplaced, the phantom is synthesized. Li Xiu pressed the remote control frantically, and the nanobombs on the floor lit up with red eyes and hummed low, and the heat wave steamed the skin. Die. The explosion covers everything. The crisis was overwhelming. Jiang Chen ignored the heat wave that burned his back, his eyes flashed and he calculated, the bomb frequency of 0.8 Hz has the same origin as the floating platform, and the blind spot weld seam is offset. Taking a deep breath of sulfur to sting his lungs, he swung the EMP gun and flashed at close range. The nanoswarm screamed and self-destructed, sparks flew out, and the fragments sprayed out like shotguns. Li Xiu's face stiffened and sweat rolled down his face. It's impossible, the precognitive eye matches your DNA, shut up. Jiang Chen jumped to his knees and locked his throat, the cold barrel of the gun pressed between his eyebrows. Flaw? Mo Fan personally witnessed it. The communication exploded, and Mo Fan's voice was frantic, Captain. The prototype was tested, and the flaw is me. Deliberately leaving a phishing backdoor, Li Xiu's virus triggered the full recording. The evidence of your innocence was uploaded to the global display screen. The live broadcast was reversed, and the holographic wall Mo Fan's AI blue eyes scanned the code, and the virus path locked Li Xiu's IP. The audience was shocked and worshipped, Detective Jiang Chen. Li Xiu's perjury was shattered. Li Xiu's eyes shrank and collapsed, his throat was bloodshot. Pretend, Aurora CEO cloned the real person of a higher-level person, not exposed. Jiang Chen coldly snorted and cuffed him. The fat police officer raised his eyes and worshipped, Captain EMP has a divine calculation, blowing up the group to self-destruct. One person reversed the trap, outsmarted the confrontation. We are destined to defy fate. The policewoman's legs were weak and she fluttered her arms. Arrest Li Xiu, the conspiracy has been revealed. Brother Chen, the whole world is shaken. Yi Ji dragged her legs to project the funds for the Russian-American joint venture. She tossed her ponytail and gasped in admiration, brothers and sisters are all involved, the international business network is broken. But Li Xiu left a message of, bigger senior, the ghost in the Arctic quantum shield is pulsing. Yi Ji rushed in, and the flat panel projection torture file popped up. She gasped and admired, Brother Chen, you caught your accomplice so fast. File verification, DNA match locked by Ning, eavesdropped and recorded AI clone stored in the Arctic fortress. The strong man collapsed and the smell of urine filled the air. Li Xiu remotely controlled bomb nano swarm, the whole city is in 72 hours for the second time. The fat police officer stared in admiration, and held the person with trembling hands, the captain's knee-pressing magic skill, one question, all moves. We thought the poison was gone, but it was reversed. The policewoman rubbed her throat and burst into tears, suppressed the inner ghost, Brother Chen, the monster. The steel walls of the deep interrogation chamber of the Black Tower are as cold as corpse skin, the rain whips hitting the top floor are like the claws of 10,000 ghosts, the invisible drone buzzes and penetrates through the fog, the red eyes pulsate and the blood-red veins reflected on the wall are like a heart twitching. The air was stagnant, mixed with burnt sulfur and bloody urine, the pungent smell of ozone ionization was mixed with the sweet taste of the black phlegm coughed up by the strong-man technician, the fluorescent green light distorted the appearance of the scars on Li Xiu's ferocious smile, his throat was bloodshot and Jiang Chen's knees were locked against the steel chair, and the nano-remote control's red light pulsated in his palm like a dying insect. The fat police officer pressed the barrel of his gun against the back of the strong man's head, his legs crackling with sweat as he leaned against the wall. His eyes were glaring and he was panting like a bellows. Captain, the drone's red net locks the top of the tower. The quantum shield is shattered, the satellite's Aurora Eagle Claw projection swallows the Black Tower, and the whole city is bombed twice in 72 hours. Are we escorting people out of the tower? It's a dead end. The policewoman rubbed the black phlegm in her throat, and the sweet aftertaste of poisonous gas burned her lungs. She dug her fingers into the blood marks on the arm of the chair, and pointed at the red dots outside the window with trembling fingertips. Brother Chen, the buzzing is close to the eardrums. The Arctic clone red dots flashed, the CEO left a message, quiet and upgraded, the live broadcast is still hot, the whole world is watching us to be destroyed. Yiji's tablet in the back seat melted the blood on her finger. She pushed up her black-framed glasses, fogged her ponytail, and shook her sweat. The code rain flashed on her pale face like a will-o'-the-wisp. Brother Chen, copy all the quantum encryption servers in the tower. The capital flow is 5 million from the Russian bank. Jump to International Aurora Finance Group, the satellite channel is being hijacked. But the drone swarm heats up our 5 heat sources, and the EMP aftermath only blocks it for 30 seconds. Mo Fan's communication hologram appeared, and the blue-eyed AI scanned the backdoor path. His roaring voice was intermittent with static electricity. Captain, the debris of the floating platform outside the Black Tower confirms Li Xiu's golden seal. My AI repair data is online, refuting that the overheating defect is completely false. The exhibition is ready to restart, but the virus self-destructs for 71 hours, and the Arctic clone invades the predictive I-pulse. Ning was handcuffed to the steel cabin next to her and lowered her head, her veins tattooed with the word loyalty, dripping with rain on the table. Her broken sobs were mixed with a curse and she whispered, Li Xiu. Instigated by a third party, we brothers and sisters are just chess pieces. Senior executives of the consortium, show the sponsor's shadow. Jiang Chen ignored the red eyes and pressed against the wall. He was breathing heavily like a god of death. He grabbed Li Xiuling's windbreaker and the mud dripped onto the beach. His cold eyes locked into the abyss of fear in those shrunken pupils. A network of clues flashed in his mind, chip DNA brother-sister resonance recording high-level stolen AI conversations, virus sulfur API remote triggering pseudo-self-destruction, nanobomb welding Russian bank military seal, live broadcast phantom watermark misaligned for 0.02 seconds, funds stamped with white condensation signature to jump to the Aurora satellite, mobile phone screen broken. Plan B to kill Jiang Chen's DNA match. The Arctic Eagle claws are fully locked, but there are blind spots. Taking a deep breath of pungent ozone to burn his lungs, he said in a low voice like a sword cutting steel, Li Xiu, the eavesdropping chip KGB quantum coding, your brother and sister's bloodline was implanted into Bai Ning's assistant period, and the resonance automatically pushed the top management. Aurora Network steals the AI core, explosion cover-up. Admit it. Li Xiu laughed wildly, blood foam sprayed on his lips, his eyes flashed with a strange light and he shook his head in shackles, eavesdropping. Ha! Bai Ning acting alone, the KGB bloodline broke and she sold me. Explosion. Mo Fan's AI overheated and self-combusted, I only have evidence. It has nothing to do with the consortium, Arctic clone. Delusion. The fat policeman's gun trembled deeply, his boots cracked, his legs slid against the wall, and his eyes widened. Captain, he is trying to blame Bai Ning. Logic is locked, who do we believe? The drone's red eyes penetrated the crack in the door, and his ears were buzzing. Yiji fluttered at Jiang Chen, her black-framed fog-condensed fingers tapped the tablet with blood and danced wildly. The holographic capital flow revealed that the Russian-American joint venture network was coiled like a poisonous snake. Her ponytail trembled and she gasped in admiration. Brother Chen, God asked. The funds were exposed, 5 million euros were signed in white, not a sole proprietorship, Li Xiu IP springboard full record, the Aurora Consortium hired you to steal the AI blueprint. Satellite channel hijacking confirmed, the AI clone body archived in the Arctic Fortress quantum shield, MO Fan's prototype data is flawless. Li Xiu's face stiffened and the sweat rolled on his knees, his eyes shrank and bulged as if he had seen a ghost. Perjury. Bai Ning signed that she was greedy, I am innocent. The policewoman burst into tears and sweat, her throat was sore and she coughed up black phlegm, and her fingers trembled. Sister Ji is a coder. Li Xiu was hired to lock up the funds. We thought we were passing the buck, but the situation is dead. Brother Chen, outsmart him. The burly technician coughed up blood and urine filled the steel chair. His arms with Russian eagle tattoos were shaking like sieves, and he whispered in fear, Captain. Li Xiu remotely controlled my nano-syringe poison gas, and the old KGB recipe was white and inked. But the third person, the voice file of the CEO of the consortium, cloned the maternal line of our brother and sister. MO Fan's communication blueprint emerged, and the AI blue eyes scanned the global exhibition screen. He was ecstatic and his throat was filled with electric noises. Captain. Repair the data upload, refute the overheating and fake deliberate phishing backdoor to record Li Xiu's virus path, and the sulfur API triggered the false self-destruction evidence to lock it. The exhibition restarted, and the audience worshipped, Jiang Chen detective, MO Fan is innocent. But the pulse of the Arctic invasion, the precognitive eye matches your DNA, and the satellite chain is bombed twice in 72 hours. The fat policeman rubbed his eyes and his eyes bulged. The flashlight fell to the ground and rolled against the steel wall, buzzing. MO Fan repaired it. The flaw is broken, we thought Li Xiu was innocent, contrary to heaven. Captain, judge the whole audience. Li Xiu shook his head wildly and bloodshot streaks flew, he smiled cruelly, his lips were split and his teeth were bleeding. Data. Synthesis. Bai Ning betrayed me, brother and sister. She is a lone wolf KGB, blasting her remote control nano swarm. The black tower of thunder outside the window shook, the drone's red eyes gathered like wolves roaring, the Aurora eagle claws swallowed neon, and the CEO clone's red dot flashed as big as the blood moon. Jiang Chen snorted coldly, then grabbed Li Xiu's mobile phone and inserted the red light pulsation into the handheld decoder. The low frequency vibrated into his bones like the whisper of an inner demon. He calculated the trajectory in his mind, the timestamp was misaligned by 0.02 seconds, the live broadcast phantom, the third person's DNA fragment matching, the capital joint venture was not a one-way street, the white condensation tattoo was a breach of loyalty, all the sponsors of the exhibition. The windbreaker hunted the rain, and he said in an icy voice, deny the explosion. The strong man confessed that you controlled the red-eye frequency of the nanoswarm at 0.8 Hz, and the Russian silver seal on the weld matched the laboratory alloy. The virus backdoor self-destructed for 71 hours, and all your IPs were recorded. Dump the white condensate. The DNA 99.99% brother-sister resonance chip, her assistant implanted it to automatically eavesdrop on high-level conversations, and you received it remotely. Li Xiu shrank his eyes and broke out in sweat, his throat dripping with sweat. The blood bubble exploded. Okay, the eavesdropping admitted that Aurora hired me with the blueprint, but Bai Ning was greedy and pushed the sulfur alone to cover up her signature. Arctic cloning has nothing to do with it. Yi projected the springboard of funds, she fingered the blood and tapped the ponytail, sweating and worshipping, Brother Chen's logic soared. Employment lock, Li Xiu's bank concealed 2 million euros, the satellite channel stole the entire AI core. We thought the game was deadlocked, broken. The door of the white steel cabin burst open, and she was dragged into the rain whip and soaked. Her veins were bulging with tattoos and her eyes were broken by tears. Li Xiu retracted his confession. The brother and sister teamed up to use chip resonance to record the top management, but a third person instigated it, Aurora CEO, maternal clone bloodline, our chess piece. The explosion covered up the theft, and his satellite network controlled the nano-remote control. The strong man coughed up blood and nodded in fear, yes. CEO voice, there are AI clones in the Arctic fortress, and they invaded the Eye of Prediction and killed Jiang Chen's whole family. The fat police officer dropped his gun and knelt down, staring in admiration and bursting into tears. Bai Ning turned around, all the brothers and sisters moved, and the third person exploded. The captain suppressed the confession, and we are dead. The policewoman threw her arm at Jiang Chen's throat and gasped, Brother Chen, the detective. The game is against the sky, the inner ghosts are shattered, but the drone buzzes and the door shatters. Jiang Chen nodded and grabbed Bai Ning's arm, and glanced at the end of the projected capital flow with cold eyes. The list of Aurora Consortium's top executives appeared, overlapping with the sponsors of the Science and Technology exhibition, the mysterious director in the exhibition, the shadow of the Neon City headquarters. Brain flash blind spot, the source of the hidden bug in the exhibition hall is not the Black Tower, and the sponsor's DNA fragment matches the cloned maternal line. Taking a deep breath of blood and stinging his lungs, he whispered, Yi, copy the entire file and prepare it for the North Pole. Mo Fan, the AI monitoring screen sponsor heat source. Fatty, escort the Li Xiu brothers and sisters back to the headquarters and block the full frequency of the Black Tower EMP. Everyone's eyes bulged in admiration. Staring, Yi fluttered her arms and trembled, Brother Chen, check the magic. The ghost in the sponsor overlap is pointing to the exhibition. We follow the god. The fat police officer climbed up and held Li Xiu with shaking hands. The captain is taking stock to control the chaos, the drone is close to the ear, against the sky. The steel of the tower door twisted and whined, the red eyes of the drone rushed in and the buzzing shattered the eardrums, and the heat wave steamed the skin and the red net pulsated and locked the neck. The thunder and rain whipped down like the sky was collapsing, the Aurora projection swallowed the entire Black Tower, the CEO cloned a red dot with a large blood hole, and the satellite voice had a deep Russian voice, Jiang Chen, Plan B DNA silence upgrade, the whole city will be in 72 hours. Li Xiu laughed wildly. Split, it's too late, the ghost in the top management is awakening. Jiang Chen swung his EMP gun and flashed with a blue arc. His red eyes screamed and self-destructed, sparks sprayed fragments of bullets. He grabbed Li Xiubai and led him to jump out of the window of the maglev car. The engine roared and tore through the rain curtain with sparks and blood. In the car, ozone burned the nose and mixed with blood and urine. Everyone was panting and worshipping, and the legs were weak. The policewoman burst into tears and threw herself on her seat. Brother Chen's EMP warning, the tower collapsed and the drone was shattered. The game is won. But the ghost inside the exhibition flashes with red dots, and the murderous intent is close to the neck. Yi's face was reflected by the rain on her tablet, and she flicked her ponytail with her fingertips. The DNA of the sponsor director is matched with the mother line, and the cloned body is lurking in the exhibition hall. The Arctic quantum shield is pulsing intrusion, and the virus has a 71-hour self-destruction countdown. Thunder exploded on the top of the Black Tower, rain whips smashed against the windows like thousands of ghosts crying, and a group of invisible drones gathered through the fog with their red eyes, buzzing and shaking the base of the tower with rubble rolling. The Aurora Talon projection of the global satellite network expands, swallowing up the neon lights of the city, and a new red dot flashes in the depths of the black hole. The true identity of the CEO clone quietly awakens, a second crisis surges like an undercurrent, a 72-hour countdown with red letters pulsating on the wall, and murderous intent looming on the neck. Jiang Chen grabbed Li Xiu's collar, looked out the window with cold eyes, the god of death whispered, the windbreaker hunted, and the war started again. The engine of the maglev car roared and tore through the rain curtain, the neon fragments smashed into the windshield like blood beads and twisted into a grimace, the red dots on the rearview mirror followed like wolf eyes biting bones, the satellite eagle claw projection expanded and swallowed up the veins of high-rise buildings, and the 72-hour countdown in red letters pulsated on the holographic screen like a heart twitching. In the cabin, ozone burns mixed blood urine and stings the nose. Rainwater seeps in through the cracks in the window and forms a pool of blood. Li Xiu's shackles jingle against his knees and he laughs intermittently with blood spraying out. Bai Ning's tattooed arms and veins are bulging and he sobs like a curse. The strong technician coughs up black phlegm and curls up in a corner with his legs shaking. Captain, the red dot heat sweep locks the rear of the car. The frequency of the Aurora Eagle Claw rises, Plan B's DNA silencer pulses are 5 heat sources. Take us back to the headquarters, dead end. The female police officer rubbed the black phlegm residue with a sore throat, picked at the blood marks on her fingertips, and pointed at the projection with trembling arms. Brother Chen, clone the red dot big blood moon in the Arctic. The live broadcast reversed and heatedly discussed our mole, and the world laughed at us for annihilation. Yiji's tablet in the back seat melted the blood on her finger. She pushed up her black-framed glasses, fogged her ponytail and shook her sweat. The rainstorm flashed on her pale face like a zombie's fluorescent light. Brother Chen, the 71-hour countdown to self-destruction of the virus's backdoor is at the top, and the sponsor's heat source in the exhibition has 3 flashes. The mysterious shadow of the board of directors overlaps with Aurora CEO. But Li Xiu's mobile phone, the red light is being decoded, and the broken screen message of Plan B is to jump to the Arctic quantum shield. Do we believe that Bai Ning is retracting his confession? It's too weird for the brother and sister to team up. Mo Fan communicated with the holographic blue-eyed AI to scan the heat map of the cabin, and his voice was piercing with electric noise and shouted, Captain, there is no abnormality in the sponsor path monitored by the AI prescient eye. According to the sulfur API of the virus uploaded around the world. But the Arctic invasion pulse matches your DNA, and the whole city will be wiped out for 72 hours. Fight to the death and use your wisdom to break the situation. Jiang Chen looked at the red dot behind his cold eyes, and the raindrops in his windbreaker were pulsating. The red light of Li Xiu's chip in his palm was pulsating like a dying insect, and the clues in his mind were internet chaos. Bai Ning wept and confessed to a third party, brother and sister DNA 99.99% resonance eavesdropping on senior executives. Li Xiu blamed for the explosion and pushed alone. Mo Fan's AI repair speed was too weird. The fund was signed for 5 million. Bai Ning danced Aurora, but Mo Fanjan sponsored the heat source blind spot. The blind spot exploded, and the ice needle stabbed in his heart. Mo Fan was hiding it. Inhaling the bloody ozone to burn his lungs, he turned around and grabbed the edge of Mo Fan's holographic projection with a low voice like a sword cutting steel. His knuckles were white and the blue light was distorted. Mo Fan, the AI log backdoor phishing record Li Xiu virus, what a coincidence. Exhibition sponsorship funds Russian-American joint venture context, your prototype data quantum shield archive Arctic the clones matched. Why did the floating platform alloy seal Aurora Golden Eagle point directly at your laboratory? Admitted to colluding with the consortium, and the explosion covered up the evidence of self-destruction of the stolen AI. The whole car was dead silent, the rain whip hit the head like thousands of needles biting the brain. Mo Fan's blue eyes hologram flashed intermittently, and his roaring voice was broken by electricity and murmured in the throat. Collapse, Captain, doubt me. I swear to the death of my innocence. The AI logs are all open, the virus sulfur API Li Xiu IP springboard recording is dead, overheating forged a 0.02 second watermark misplacement. The fat policeman's gun trembled and he was sweating deeply. Fan. We thought we were innocent allies, but the situation turned to the inside again. The red dot was buzzing and the ears were biting. The policewoman was crying and sweating, her arms were beating, Jiang Chen had a sore throat and coughed up black phlegm, and his fingers were trembling. Brother Chen, Mo Fan is zealous and swears to die. But who can believe in sponsoring the heat source? The cabin is filled with blood, and the whole car is wiped out. The white steel handcuffs mopped the floor and she raised her head, her veins tattooed with the word loyalty were dripping with rain. She was sobbing and whispering like a poisonous snake, Captain Jiang, Mo Fan is hiding. The assistant asked me to implant a chip, and the resonance recorded him secretly talking to the director of Aurora, which broke out exploding sulfur nanometers and matching the welds in the remote control laboratory. Brother and sister chess pieces, he is really a traitor. Li Xiu burst into tears with laughter, his eyes flashed with strange light and his shackles jingled. Ha! Bai Ning told the truth, Mo Fan sells the AI blueprint, his backup for the Arctic clone, Plan B will destroy you, he pushed it. The strong man technician coughed and the smell of urine filled the steel chair. His arms with Russian eagle tattoos trembled and whispered in fear, Mo Fan. The heat source exhibition hall flashed, and the CEO's voice mentioned his prototype. Did we believe it wrong? Yiji's black-framed finger was flattened with blood. The board danced wildly, and the holographic fund flow showed up in Mofan Laboratories' Russian bank stamp. Her ponytail trembled and she gasped in confusion, Brother Chen, God asked, it's heartbreaking. Sponsored joint venture context locked Mofan's IP for a moment. During the AI log verification, we worship God, but the deadlock keeps pressing. Jiang Chen ignored the red dots and followed with a low buzz like a god of death. The psychological game in his mind was like a knife twisting. Mo Fan was quick to repair and win, the virus locked Taijia, but there was a blind spot in the floating wreckage of the alloy seal laboratory. Bai Ning's confession was shattered by tears and it was difficult to tell the truth from the false, and everyone's eyes were shaken and the control field was shaken to pieces, suppressing despair and raising intelligence. His icy eyes locked Mo Fan's blue eyes in the abyss, and said coldly, the log is on full frequency, and the explosion timing is reanalyzed. The 1347 live broadcast phantom watermark is misplaced by 0.02 seconds, Li Xiu's IP springboard virus triggers the sulfur API, the nanoremote controls 0.8 Hz red-eye group welds the Russian silver seal. Your AI without backdoor phishing records his entire path, sponsored heat source. Disguised as an agent. Mo Fan's holographic blue eyes pulsated to scan the heat map of the car cabin, and he roared with electric noise, open. Quantum encryption of the log explodes. The projected AI log flashes with blood and distortion, the virus path is sulfur locked to Li Xiu's private server, the timestamp perfectly matches the 71 hours before the explosion, and the overheated fake file is synthesized and the watermark is misplaced for falsification. Yiji fluttered at Jiang Chen's arms. The black-framed fog congealed, her fingers were blood typing, and she was sweating. Her pale face reflected the blue light and she gasped in admiration, Brother Chen, analyze the timing. The log is overturned, Mo Fan is 100% innocent, Li Xiu's full remote control of the virus is recorded, and the floating alloy seals his laboratory rental disguise. We thought Mo Fan was in trouble, and his sanity was shattered. The fat police officer's gun fell to the ground and hit the steel wall with a bang. He knelt down and cried in admiration, Sister Ji is a god. Mo Fan's allies are locked up, and our suspicions will be shattered. The captain's words popped up, and the whole audience worshipped. The policewoman burst into tears and gasped with pain in her throat, Brother Chen, rebirth. The evidence of the virus remotely controlling Li Xiu is solid, the red dot is following closely, chasing the agent. The burly technician coughed up blood and nodded in fear, shaking his head, Li Xiu remotely controlled my nano-timing matching. Mo Fan is innocent. Bai Ning's eyes shrank and bulged, sweat beads hit her knees, and her tattoos burst into tears as she cried. He glared at his brother, Li Xiu, you pushed the sulfur from the far side to ruin my confession. Li Xiu laughed fiercely and split his lips with blood spraying, synthetic evidence. Jiang Chen snorted coldly, grabbed the chip and inserted the red light into Yiji's tablet. The low-frequency vibration penetrated into the marrow like the whispers of inner demons, and the brain flashed chase track, 3 heat sources of sponsors and agents in the exhibition, blind spots of communication records exploded. Windbreaker Hunter shook the rein, and his voice was as low as iron. Yiji, lock the sponsorship agent IP, turn the car to the exhibition hall route, Fatty, hold the gun on Li Xiu's brother and sister, seal the EMP equipment, Mo Fan, the AI predicts the interference of the eagle claw projection. Everyone's eyes bulged in admiration. Staring at her, Yiji pointed at the blood code on the tablet and flashed. She tossed her ponytail and gasped in admiration, Brother Chen has arranged the magic. Agent IP lock, VIP area of the exhibition hall, 50 communication records with Li Xiu, virus download confirmation. Let's chase after the god. The car turned sharply, the rain curtain tore apart, the neon blood light smashed into the cabin and twisted ghost shadows, and the red dot followed and followed, the buzzing sound shattered the eardrums. Unexpected. The fake lock of Li Xiu's shackles clicked, and the poisonous gas hidden in the nano-syringe in his palm spurted out sweetly. He grabbed the barrel of the fat police officer's gun with his right hand and pushed it against his throat, screaming blood foam, death. The agent is awake, the ghost in the exhibition will destroy you. The strong technician coughed and urinated and threw himself at Jiang Chen's eagle arm and smashed the seat. The cabin slammed against the steel wall and screamed. The policewoman's throat was sore and her tattoos were white and she pressed to the ground. Jiang Chen's windbreaker ducked and locked Li Xiu's wrist with a cracking sound. The blue arc of the EMP gun flashed with a blue arc and the red-eyed syringe self-destructed. Sparks sprayed fragments of bullets wildly. He grabbed Li Xiu's collar and the mud and blood dripped into the beach. His cold eyes pressed into the abyss and pressed his throat, prison break. Nano pseudo-shackles with a frequency of 0.8 Hz, I'll forget it soon. The fat policeman took back the gun and knelt down in a pool of blood. His eyes were filled with fear and he worshipped, Captain is planning an ambush. Li Xiu is in danger and we are almost destroyed. Divine pressure, full control. The strong man coughed up blood and collapsed, remote control failed. Captain's divine eyes. Yiji's tablet code appeared on Yu Yingsang's face, and Li Xiu's terminal cracked the red light pulsation and stopped. Her black-framed foggy ponytail was sweating and fluttering on her arms. Jiang Chen worshipped with a trembling voice, Brother Chen, the terminal exposed the final evidence, DNA manipulation records. Li Xiu forged maternal cloning of brother and sister. The clip directly pointed out that the real murderer implanted a chip to eavesdrop on the high-level officials, completely controlled the sulfur at the far end of the explosion, and hid his 3 million euros in the disguise of the Arctic clone. The agent's communication order was to destroy Jiang Chen's evidence. His face was distorted and blood-red, Li Xiu's face was stiff and sweaty, and his knees crackled. His eyes shrank and the blood bubbles in his throat collapsed. No, synthesis. Bai Ning burst into tears and glared at his brother's tattooed veins. You are the real murderer. The chess piece was destroyed. Mo Fan's holographic blue eyes scanned the world display screen and he was ecstatic. Captain, the magic hook. The AI prediction was exposed, the heat source of the exhibition hall agent was locked, and the second explosion was reversed within 72 hours. The policewoman burst into tears and threw herself into her arms. Sister Ji is the ultimate code master. The DNA of Li Xiu is irrefutable. We thought that the brother and sister would join forces, and the dead end will be shattered. Brother Chen will fight with all his wits. Jiang Chen nodded and caught the pulsing red light of Li Xiu's terminal. He scanned the projection agent path with cold eyes and flashed the VIP in the exhibition hall. The network was laid out in his mind. EMP blocked the car frequency, AI interfered with the eagle's claw, Yiji beat the terminal to prepare for the North Pole, and the fat policeman searched for the real murderer and raided the agent. Taking a deep breath of pungent nosebleeds and burning his lungs, he whispered, speed up the exhibition hall, the ghost inside wakes up and the war is on fire. The virus self-destructs in 71 hours, and explodes twice in 72 hours, the counterattack begins. The car engine roared and tore through the neon rain curtain, the red dot trailed and the heat sweep failed, and the satellite's eagle claw projection distorted and flickered like a defeated dog growling. Everyone gasped in admiration and stared at Jiang Chen in his windbreaker. The fat police officer rubbed his eyes and trembled with his hands as he held Li Xiu. Captain fights back with all his might. God is planning to control the chaos. There is a murderous intention in the exhibition, we are determined to follow him to the death. Yi Ji hit the keyboard with blood and flicked her ponytail wildly. Panting, Brother Chen's psychological game is overwhelming, the DNA evidence has locked the real culprit, the pulse of the Arctic quantum shield has weakened, a slight reversal. The policewoman had a sore throat and coughed up black phlegm and burst into tears, unbelievable. The mole's agent ambushed and crushed, the detective is invincible. Dark clouds are looming over the neon city, satellite telone projections are swallowing up high-rise buildings, and the undercurrent of the second crisis is roaring like an invisible giant beast. Jiang Chen looked coldly at the rearview mirror as the red dot followed him. The red light pulsating from the windbreaker hunting chip was pulsing. The war was burning towards the ghost in the exhibition. The 72-hour countdown was filled with red words on the wall. The tires of the maglev car tore through the rain and fog like a roar of wild beasts, the silver arc pulse of the behemoth in the exhibition hall twisted into a mouth of blood under the black clouds, the three red dot heat sources in the VIP area flashed together like a magic pupil biting the bones, the neon fragments hit the cabin roof and jingled, mixed with blood and urine, burning the lungs and pungent. The 72-hour countdown to the second explosion in red letters on the holographic screen. Convulsed and pulsated. Jiang Chen's windbreaker hunted and shook the raindrops, his cold eyes locked on the path of the projected agent. The red light of Li Xiu's terminal in his palm pulsed like a heart twitching, and his low voice sounded like a hammer hitting steel. Yi Ji, switch the path, don't go straight to the VIP, go around the north wing of the abandoned laboratory. Feed Li Xiu a false signal from the chip, pretend to escort our team to collapse, and lure the agent out of the hole. Mo Fan, AI predicts that the full frequency of the eagle claw will interfere with the satellite heat scan, and the virus will self-destruct in 71 hours and will be cloned in the North Pole. The whole car was dead silent, the rain whip hit the roof like thousands of ghosts knocking on the door, the fat police officer's gun barrel hit the back of Li Xiu's head, sweat rolled down and slapped his knees, his legs were soft and his eyes were bulging. He whispered in fear, Captain. Abandoned laboratory. The radiation left in the old site of the north wing is black fog that bites the bones. The agent's ghost military drone is locked with a group of red eyes. Plan B is silenced and upgraded. Are we feeding snakes? The red dots are following and buzzing. The eardrums are shattered and they are all gone. The female police officer rubbed the black phlegm on her fingertips for a sore throat and dug into her arm with blood. Trembling, she burst into tears and sweat, through the projection and gasped in doubt, Brother Chen, the magic bait Li Xiu chip? The VIP heat source in the exhibition hall overlaps the Aurora CEO shadow, the Arctic quantum shield pulsates and counterattacks. The virus self-destructs and clones, in case the bait is broken, the snake will eat it. Yi Ji's black-framed glasses were foggy and her ponytail was wet, and she shook her sweat, and her fingers knocked blood on the tablet, and the rain flashed like a will-o'-the-wisp. Collapse, Jiang Chen Zhongfu launches, the agent IP bites the hook path lock and abandons the north wing. But the vision is blinded by the black radiation fog, and the residual sweet taste of the nanotoxic gas is floating. We follow the god into the tiger's den to worship. Mo Fan's holographic blue eyes swept the car cabin's heat map pulsating, and he roared with electric noise and collapsed, Captain, the divine bait suppresses despair. The AI predicts the eagle claw projection and distorts the satellite, and the Arctic clone Li Xiu's backup invasion is weakened by 71%. I will sacrifice my wisdom and lock it to death. The steel cuffs mopping the floor with a tattoo of loyalty, and veins dripping with blood. She sobbed like a curse and murmured with shrinking eyes in fear, "Abandoned North Wing. I signed the poison gas, the radiation weld." Li Xiu remotely controlled the blind spot. "Our brother and sister chess pieces will be eaten again." The strong man technician coughed black phlegm and bent his legs to shake the urine. The smell filled the steel chair. His arms trembled and he murmured in fear, "Captain baited me with nano-timing." The clone CEO's voice is silencing, "The black mist has entered death." Li Xiu laughed ferociously, blood sprayed out from his throat, his shackles jingled, his eyes flashed with a strange light, his sweat hit his knees and his knees crackled, the red light chip pulsed like a dying insect struggling, and a top-level secret order flashed in his mind: the agent wakes up and destroys the evidence. Jiang Chen ignored the fear of being shaken by all the eyes, and whispered in the abyss of cold eyes, "Suppress despair, spring up the intellectual pressure. Accelerate the north wing, EMP prepares to block the frequency." The car engine roared and turned, the rain curtain tore apart, the neon blood light smashed into the cabin and ghosts danced wildly, the red dot followed and buzzed, the glass shattered, buzzing and gnawing at the ears, the satellite eagle claw projection was distorted and faded like the claw mark of a defeated dog. The north wing of the abandoned laboratory stands on the edge of the neon wasteland. Black mist and radiation clouds billow like the breath of living corpses. The iron doors are rusty and creaking in the wind. Green fluorescent nanoresidues in the cracks in the ground are flickering and pulsating. The sweet and poisonous air is mixed with burnt ozone and the nose is steaming like hell. In the distant exhibition hall, the giant beast hums and pulses with red light that vaguely bites the eyes. The tires screeched and sparks flew on the ground. Everyone's legs slipped out of the hatch and the rain hit their shoulders. The fat police officer's gun trembled and Li Xiu's throat was sweating and splashed with mud. His eyes widened and he gasped in fear, "Captain, the black fog blinds you." The three flashes of the thermal scan red dots are approaching the drone group, and the nanoweld seams are pulsing. The magic bait is close. The policewoman has a sore throat, coughs, black phlegm, and white condensation tattoos on her arms, trembling and bursting into tears. "Brother Chen, radiation." The instrument jumped wildly, biting the bones, and the sweet smell drifted closer. The agent's snake woke up. Yiji's tablet hot melt finger blood code rained down and the black frame condensed, her ponytail fluttered, her pale face reflected the green light and she gasped in admiration. "Brother Chen," the agent IP bit the hook to confirm, the VIP shadow overlapped Aurora CEO, the drone's red-eye group 0.8 Hz locked the door of the north wing, the virus hook Arctic clone pulsed 71 hours of self-destruction countdown. God's cloth is against the sky. Jiang Chen's windbreaker hunted and flicked the black mist beads, and his cold eyes swept through the rusty cracks in the iron door with red light flashing. He grabbed Li Xiu's collar and the blood dripped down the muddy beach. He said in a low voice like the edge of a sword, "Push in, Yiji's projected DNA video will be broadcast in full frequency, feed the snake to peel off the truth." The iron door opened and black mist poured out to swallow up all the shadows. The interior was abandoned. The instrument was twisted like a dead bone, the green screen was broken and the nanoweld seams were red with veins. The blood on the ground was dry and cracked with a sweet and pungent smell that burned the lungs. Li Xiu was being held in a central steel platform and shackled to death with a clanking clang. He smiled cruelly and his lips were split into blood bubbles. "Jiang Chen, dead end. The agent army will eat your whole family with red eyes." Abrupt. Red dots flashed at the door. A swarm of drones buzzed like a honeycomb and broke in. The red-eyed laser scanned the heat source in the black mist and locked the crowd at 5 points. The nanoneedle hidden under the wings was ready to spray sweet smell. The fat police officer's gun fell to the ground and rolled with a bang as it hit the steel wall. He knelt down on his knees with soft legs and screamed in horror, "Captain, 20 red ice are locked. The poisonous gas is sweet and gnaws at the lungs, the black mist of radiation blinds the gun, kill them all." The policewoman's throat hurt, she coughed up blood, phlegm, and burst into tears, and she attacked the strong man in her arms. nothing. Man machine KGB old style, the welding Russian silver seal matches Li Xiu. The snake bites close. The strong man technician coughed and crouched on the steel platform, shaking his legs and shaking the Russian eagle arm with a violent pulse. I restarted the remote control sequence. The captain's magic bait was shattered. The white condensate tattooed steel cuffs with violent pulse dragged the mud and cried to pieces. Li Xiu, wake up from your cloned backup. Yiji's black-framed fog-condensed fingers were pounding on the tablet with blood. Her ponytail was dripping with sweat, her gray face was ghostly, she fluttered at Jiang Chen's arms and worshipped with a trembling voice, Brother Chen, the drone frequency is 0.8 kHz EMP equipment, but the red-eye laser burns the retina. Agent, the voice jumped, destroy the evidence, Jiang Chen's DNA match is all gray. God, hold on. Mo Fan's holographic blue-eyed projection room flashed wildly, and he shouted in an electric voice, Captain, the Eagle Claw interference failure clone counterattack, the virus's self-destruction hook is weak, swear to death. Jiang Chen ignored the red eyes that gnawed at his eardrums, and the abyss of cold eyes locked onto Li Xiu's collapsed face. He inserted the red light of the terminal into the interface of the steel platform, and the low-frequency shock was like a demon whispering, play. The projection exploded and the blood-red DNA spiral twisted and reflected the ghostly green light in the room. The video timing was peeled off, Li Xiu's private server quantum decryption, Li Xiu's self-implanted chip red light pulsation forged brother and sister maternal clone fragments with 99.99% resonance, high eavesdropping the layered dialogue automatically pushed the CEO of Aurora, monopolizing the AI market, covering up the virus and sulfur remote control explosion, blaming Mo Fan's insider. Assistant Bai Ning signed a contract for €5 million in poison gas welds, the floating platform was rented out and disguised as Russian silver alloy. The Arctic clone Li Xiu backed up an archived Plan B to kill Jiang Chen's family, a hidden account of 3 million was used to promote the VIP agency, and the live broadcast phantom synthesis watermark was misplaced and the world was hotly debated. The virus path sulfur API lock Li Xiu IP springboard was implanted 71 hours ago, and the AI log perfectly matched to overturn the perjury. Li Xiu's face was stiff and he was sweating like rain. He banged on the steel platform. His eyes were shrunken and his throat was filled with blood bubbles. He was shouting loudly, synthetic, fake. The projection continued to peel off, and 50 communications between Li Xiu and VIP agent Aurora Shadow overlapped. Brother and sister teamed up to eavesdrop on the top management, destroyed Mo Fan AI, and blamed the monopoly market for the explosion. The whole city will be gray for the second time in 72 hours. The white steel cuffs shattered loudly, and her tattoos were drenched with blood and mud from the raindrops. Weeping in tears, she turned to the steel platform and glared at her brother, who had a sore throat. He surrendered and yelled, Li Xiu. You are really a murderer. During the assistant period, I implanted a chip resonance to record you secretly talking to the Aurora director, exploded sulfur nanometers and you controlled the weld, and I signed the poison gas chess piece. The brother and sister teamed up with you to take the lead, forging evidence of DNA maternal cloning and self-destruction. Surrender and crush you. The room was dead silent, the black fog radiated green light and everyone's faces were distorted, and the red-eyed drone buzzed and stopped the laser-blind flash. The fat police officer knelt down on the mud to pick up the gun. His legs were shaking, his eyes were staring at admiration, and he burst into tears. Captain is amazing. The DNA video proved irrefutable that the brother and sister teamed up to blame the virus, and Li Xiu collapsed. The black mist gnawed at our bones and despair, and the god bounced up and burned with the truth. The female police officer had a sore throat, coughed up black phlegm, and cried in the mud. Jiang Chen gasped in admiration, Brother Chen, there is a monopoly conspiracy in the video sequence. Bai Ning turned himself in to prove the murder. Unbelievable intelligence, red eyes are frozen. Yiji fluttered his arms, Jiang Chen's black-framed fog-condensed finger blood knocked down the projection, ponytail flicked, pale face, fluorescent worship, shouted, Brother Chen, divine bait peeling heart. The entire terminal was exposed, Li Xiu's pseudo-clone self-destructed, the proxy IP was disconnected and the drone was blinded, and the virus hooked the Arctic clone to self-destruct for 71 hours. We thought it was a snake-eating death, and the god crushed it. The strong technician coughed up blood and urinated, his eyes widened in fear. Afterwards, he worshipped and whispered, "The remote control sequence video locks me." Master Li Xiu's murderous evidence is undeniable, and his divine eyes are flawless. Mo Fan's blue-eyed holographic pulsating room scan hot picture was ecstatic and electric. "Captain, the magic hook is fully activated." There is a hot discussion on the AI phase reversal all over the world, and the second explosion is reversal. Li Xiu collapsed, his throat was clogged, and blood sprayed out onto the steel platform. His eyes were ashen and he smiled fiercely before saying the last part, "Admit it." The brother and sister teamed up to eavesdrop on the high-level virus to break the AI and put the blame on Mo Fan. Aurora monopolizes the market. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The high-level officials will report it. Repair. Jiang Chen snorted, the blue arc EMP precharged on Li Xiu's forehead hummed low. He swung the black mist beads in his windbreaker to strengthen the shackles, and the clues in his mind became an iron cage. The truth was revealed, the inner ghost was locked up, the Arctic cloning pulse was weak but the shadow of the high-level officials was hidden. The low voice ended like thunder, the arrest was successful. Yi Ji, make a full copy of the global broadcast. Fatty, escort the headquarters to block the North Pole channel. Mo Fan, AI prediction locks the high-level path. Everyone gasped in admiration and stared at Jiang Chen's back with weak legs. The fat police officer escorted Li Xiu on the dirt road and trembled in admiration. Team Long Peak. The truth is so exciting, the detective is invincible and dominates the audience. The policewoman burst into tears and threw her arms. The battle of wits is heartburning, and the shouting is so exciting. Yi Ji fingered the keys with blood on her ponytail, sweating on her shoulders. Brother Chen is famous, the inner ghost is climaxing. But Li Xiu whispers the iceberg, and the high-level shadow is approaching. On a rainy night, the neon-black clouds pressed down on the exhibition hall and the monster roared. The red dots of the agency heat source VIP gathered like blood holes and bit in the eyes. The red light on the terminal of Jiang Chen's palm pulsed and he was burned in the flames of war. The red words on the 72-hour countdown wall shattered for a moment, and the overture of the Jedi counterattack roared. The rain curtain is like thousands of needles piercing the bones, the iron gate of the abandoned north wing is rusty and creaking, the black fog radiation cloud slowly retreats, the pulsation of green fluorescent nanoresidues is fading like a dying heartbeat, the sweet and poisonous gas burns the nose, and the smell of mixed blood, mud and urine fills the air like the aftertaste of hell. The silver arc veins of the behemoth in the distant exhibition hall flashed with red light, the global live broadcast buzzed with buzzing comments, and the 72-hour countdown in red words on the holographic screen froze for a moment. Jiang Chen's windbreaker hunted and flicked the black mist beads, and his cold eyes swept across Li Xiu's collapsed face. The blue arc EMP on the top of his gun barrel was precharged in a low voice. The shackles were reinforced and shattered like iron coffins. The low-pitched order ended like thunder, escort the headquarters. The Arctic quantum shield is blocked in full frequency. The pulse is weak. Yi Ji monitors the clone counterattack. The fat policeman's legs were weak and he knelt in the mud to pick up the shaking sieve. He held Li Xiu's arm in sweat, smashed the mud and splashed his eyes. He burst into tears and worshipped, "Captain, the truth is heartbreaking." Li Xiu admitted that the brother and sister teamed up to blame the virus. The global hot discussion turned our black fog dead situation, and the magic bullet suppressed the whole audience. The female police officer had a sore throat, coughed up black phlegm, and the mud was pouring onto Jiang Chen's arms, trembling in worship. Roaring, "Brother Chen is outsmarted." The projected DNA is ironclad evidence of the high-level conspiracy, the crowd of red eyes freezes, our lungs are filled with sweetness and despair, God is crushing and shouting, it's so exciting. Yi Ji, black-framed, fog-condensed finger, knocked blood on the tablet, flicked the ponytail, and fluttered his pale face. He pounced on Jiang Chen's shoulders and worshipped. Brother Chen's terminal is fully copied and uploaded, and the proxy IP is disconnected from the drone's blind frequency. Self-destruction sparks, virus hook Arctic clone 70 hours self-destruction and crushing. MO fans holographic blue eye projection hot picture crazy lightning noise roared, the captain's AI log global verification of innocence, the second bombing reversed the death of the high-level shadow. Bai Ning steel cuffs drag mud tattoo blood dripped from Bai Meiyu's hair, and she sobbed, her eyes shrunk, and she murmured in admiration, Captain Jiang surrendered himself to prove that his brother was the culprit. The fake DNA of the brother and sister's chess pieces failed to destroy the evidence, and his eyes were fixed on the iceberg. The strong technician coughed up blood and urinated, curled up on the ground, his arms trembled, his eyes widened in fear, and then he worshipped and whispered, the remote control timing video proves that Li Xiu is the real culprit, and he has all the moves at his knees. The engine of the maglev car roared and tore through the rain and fog, the tires scratched the mud and sparks flew, gathering the faint red light of the Arctic cloning veins. The neon fragments hit the cabin roof with a jingling sound mixed with the burning ozone and the pungent smell. The projection of the satellite's eagle claws distorted and faded like the marks of a defeated dog's claws. The dead silence in the car turned into a hum of admiration. Li Xiu's throat was swollen with blood spraying from the seat, and his eyes were ashen and he was smiling with a cracked smile. Jiang Chen, the high-level iceberg is taking revenge, and your whole family will be wiped out. Jiang Chen ignored it and locked his eyes coldly outside the window. The city's neon blood light was distorted, and the iron cage of the clue network in his mind was tightened. The terminal exposed 50 communications, a hidden account worth 3 million euros of rotation, the Arctic Fortress quantum shield clone backup, and Plan B failed to match the silenced DNA. The high tower of the headquarters stands on the edge of the neon wasteland. The steel and glass curtain walls reflect the rain whip like thousands of ghosts knocking on the door. The blue arc lights in the underground interrogation room pulse with strange green lights. The air is cold and mixed with electromagnetic ozone and burns the nose. The quantum encrypted data on the wall screen rolls like the breath of a living corpse. Jiang Chen escorted Li Xiu into the room, the shackles shattered and the steel chair buzzed. He shook off the raindrops from his windbreaker and glanced at the high-level video projection with cold eyes, the gray-haired steel eyes of the iron-faced director, the black-framed sneer of the Deputy Intelligence Bureau, and the squinting of the gold-rimmed glasses of the federal envoy. The three shadows overlapped like magic eyes biting the bones. The fat police officer's legs were soft and he was holding Li Xiu, his head was sweating and he was kneeling on the ground. The female police officer had a sore throat, rubbed black phlegm, and picked at the blood marks on his fingers. His arms were trembling. Everyone's eyes were filled with fear and desperation, Chief. The black mist in the north wing is radiating bone-gnawing, and all the red eyes are locked and wiped out. Li Xiu's high-level iceberg Plan B will destroy Jiang Chen's family. We, the magic bait, are close to death. Yi Ji's tablet hot melt finger blood code is raining, and the black frame is condensed with mist, and her ponytail is wet and messy, her pale face is reflected in the blue arc and she is panting. High-level questions. Terminal projection broadcasts the truth to the world, virus sulfur API locks Li Xiu's IP, AI logs verify MO fans' innocence, but the Arctic clone pulse weak counterattack for 70 hours. MO fans holographic blue-eyed scanning room heat map pulsating electric roar throat, director, foreknowledge of the eagle claws interfering with satellites, a second 72-hour gray crisis throughout the city, God locks the high-level path to death. The iron-faced director projected gray hair and steely eyes, and his voice was like a hammer hitting steel, roaring down his throat, Jiang Chen. An explosion in the exhibition hall injured 20 people and killed one. The world is hotly discussing the virus inside MO fan AI that is out of control. Are you abandoning the North Wing to feed snakes black mist radiation? Li Xiu brother and sister DNA 99.99% resonance evidence is irrefutable, Aurora CEO's satellite voice silence is upgraded, international conspiracy. Proof. Otherwise, the top management will hold you accountable. The Deputy Intelligence Bureau's black frame sneered and his eyes flashed and his fingertips were reflected in the rain. Yiji's data quantum encryption is not fully copied, Arctic quantum shield clones Li Xiu's backup pulse, Plan B DNA matches Jiang Chen's silence, the evidence is forged. The global live broadcast reverses the hot discussion, but doubts abound, proving that Li Xiu deliberately sabotaged MO fans' invention, otherwise the exhibition will be suspended. The technology exhibition is destroyed. The federal envoy's snarled words were horrifying. The wreckage of the Russian silver military alloy floating platform, the white condensation KGB tattoo gas, the sweet smell of nanowelds in the car's self-destruction, the evidence chain is broken, and the high-level revenge iceberg, Jiang Chen, it's a dead end. The room was dead silent, the blue arc lamp convulsed and the green light reflected the faces distorted like ghosts, electromagnetic ozone burned the lungs and stung the nose, Li Xiu smiled ferociously. Blood bubbles burst and his eyes flashed with a last strange light. Director, Jiang Chen synthesized the video to perjury. My brother and sister are loyal to the Aurora, and the top management monopolizes the scriptures. The fat police officer trembled with his gun, sweat rolled off Li Xiu's knees, and his legs were soft and smooth, and he screamed in horror, the director is desperate. DNA resonance iron, it proves that our North Wing bone-eating god is dead, and the top management has been wiped out. The policewoman burst into tears and threw herself at the strong man, coughing black phlegm on his arms and curling up with urine, shaking the steel chair. Brother Chen, doubted the heartburn, Li Xiu counterattacked. The white-coated steel handcuffs dragged on the floor with veins and veins dripping with blood. She sobbed like a curse, her eyes narrowed and she murmured in despair, Director. I signed the poisonous brother to lead the pseudo-cloning, but the high-level influence is heavy. Jiang Chen ignored the public's fear of being shaken, locked the high-rise projection with cold eyes, and inserted the pulsating red light of the terminal in his hand into the interface of the steel platform. The low-frequency vibration buzzed like an inner demon whispering, play the whole chain. The projection exploded with blood-red data, spiraling and twisting the indoor blue arc, reflecting the demonic shadow, peeling off the layers. Li Xiu's private server quantum decryption of 50 communications. Aurora CEO's shadow overlapped, virus sulfur API remote control explosion welding nano, don't blame anyone. Where AI insiders monopolize the market, Plan B destroys Jiang Chen and DNA matches are all in vain. Hidden account of €3 million of rotation path for Russian-American joint venture to jump to the satellite. Bai Ning's assistant signed €5 million of toxic gas weld floating platform rental to Russian bank disguise. AI log timestamp matched the virus implantation overheating fake file watermark misplaced 70 hours before the explosion. Arctic clone Li Xiu's backup archive had weak pulse. Self-destructing barbs predicted eagle claws to interfere with satellite heat scanning. The drone's red I 0.8 Hz military KGB quantum-coded brother-sister bloodline chip was automatically pushed to eavesdropping executives. Li Xiu planted a self-planted red light to forge evidence of 99.99% resonance annihilation of maternal clones. The Phantom 3.0 synthetic live broadcast watermark was hotly debated around the world and turned into irrefutable evidence. The iron-faced director's gray hair, steel eyes, bulging projections, distorted throat, blood rushing up, roaring, this, the whole chain of ironclad evidence. Li Xiu deliberately sabotaged MO Fan's invention, the virus remotely controlled the sulfur weld explosion, and the international Aurora conspiracy collapsed. The Deputy Intelligence Bureau's black-framed fog condensed and sneered, his face was stiff, his fingertips were bloody, he dug at the table, he was pale, and he gasped in admiration. Jiang Chen is peeling off. Quantum data torture. The backup blocked the hidden account communication, the Arctic cloning pulse was weak and self-destructed, Plan B was wiped out and the forged evidence was wiped out. The federal envoy's gold-rimmed glasses slid down his nose and his eyes narrowed in fear before he worshipped and shouted, DNA was faked and self-implanted, poison gas was signed by nano-remote control. Li Xiu led the brothers and sisters to join forces to eavesdrop on high-level officials. The evidence is heartbreaking, and the big conspiracy has been shattered. Li Xiu's face stiffened with sweat, and he hit the steel platform repeatedly. His eyes shrank, his throat protruded, blood sprayed out, and he roared in despair, "No, the high-level iceberg. Aurora CEO cloned the real Arctic fortress, I am loyal, regret it. Jiang Chen, you ruined my ambition," and the whole family was ashes. The white steel handcuffs shattered, and the tattoos violently pulsed. She was drenched in blood and mud, weeping, and threw herself on the steel platform. She turned herself in and yelled for more details, "Director. Brother, sign." My assistant's chess piece implanted a chip to record a secret conversation with the director of Aurora, second 72-hour whole city, global monopoly AI, I don't know the pseudo-DNA mother line, he planted the evidence. I will give him a light sentence and change him to a high-level shadow, I will take all the measures. The strong technician coughed and trembled with his legs shaking, and his pulse was violent, and he turned to worship. Li Xiu's remote control nanosequence CEO voice cloning blood, the video is unequivocal evidence that the main culprit regrets it. There was a flood of worship in the room. The fat police officer's legs were loose and his legs were weak. He knelt in the mud and burst into tears. He cried at Jiang Chen's arms, "The captain is so powerful that he suppressed the doubts of the top management." Li Xiu was defeated and cried with regret. The conspiracy to disintegrate our deadlock was so exciting. The female police officer had a sore throat, black phlegm and tears, and rushed to her shoulders and breathed in worship, "Brother Chen, stripping off the whole chain and heartburn, international business is broken and screaming." Lon Arc worshipped and roared, "Brother Chen, the full quantum copy has locked the blood resonance of the KGB chip, Li Xiu's mobile phone has a broken screen, Plan B is decoded, and the Arctic quantum shield monitoring is disconnected." God pressure worships. MO Fan's Blue Eye holographic heat map global demonstration AI repair pulsating electric ecstasy, Captain, the prescient eye patch is uploaded to cleanse the reputation, the virus path is deleted and all logs are verified, and the technology exhibition is restarted to death. The black mist and radiation cloud rolled away, the green fluorescent nanopulse in the abandoned room stopped, the red light of the giant beast vein in the far exhibition hall flashed, and the global live broadcast reversed the hot discussion like a tide. The 72-hour countdown wall shattered for a moment, but the Arctic quantum shield faintly roared like a bigger shadow swallowing the sky. Jiang Chen's cold eyes scanned the night sky, his windbreaker hunted, but the hunt was not over yet. At dawn in the Neon City, the silver arc of the Science and Technology Exhibition beast pulsates and returns to the blue light. The debris of the floating platform is dragged away from the alloy seal and exposed to the world. The audience is buzzing in admiration. MO Fan's AI repair demonstration is revealed on the stage. The holographic blue eye projection predicts that the eagle claw sweeps the heat source and has no virus veins. Passers-by stare with wide eyes and tremble. God MO Fan is resurrected. Captain Jiang Chen reveals the truth about Li Xiu. The real culprit, the AI is out of control and deliberately sabotages, so smart. Reporters flashed their lights and high-highs reporters shouted in admiration, the high-level conspiracy collapsed, and Jiang Chen became famous all over the world. Bai Ning was lightly sentenced and escorted in steel handcuffs, sobbed to reveal the details and turned to admire Jiang Chen, the shadow of the high-level executive in the divine lock. Deep in Li Xiu's cage, blood foam broke out and he roared in despair, regret echoed, iceberg revenge, destroy me. The high-level projector flashed a green light for approval, and the iron-faced director stared at Jiang Chen's back with gray-haired steel eyes and admired him. Jiang Chen, the arrest of Li Xiaobaning will be lightly punished, and the exhibition is ready to restart safely. The investigation team for the collapse of the International Aurora Consortium is stationed. The Federal Special Envoy Jinsei worshipped and whispered, the peak of the detective, the iron cage of evidence crushes the conspiracy. The black frame of the Deputy Intelligence Bureau exclaimed, the world is talking about MO Fan's AI revolution, and the second bomb crisis is solved. The Neon City slowly wakes up after the rain. The behemoth silver arc in the Science and Technology Exhibition Hall pulsates with blue light as warm as a new heartbeat. The sweet and poisonous gas remaining in the air fades away and turns into a fresh smell of ozone. The audience hums and worships, and the waves of flash lights beat against the holographic screen. Mofin AI Demonstration Hot Picture. The blue eyes of the holographic projection scanned the heat source without pulsating the virus. The passers-by's eyes widened and they shouted with trembling voices, "God Mo Fan is resurrected." Captain Jiang Chen revealed the real culprit who ripped off Li Xiu, and the Aurora conspiracy was shattered. "I am so happy." The reporter's larynx stuck in admiration and the pen tip shook his sieve and wrote wildly, "The high-level iceberg collapsed." Jiang Chen is famous all over the world. Jiang Chen stood on the top platform of Windbreaker Hunting Station, his cold eyes locked into the abyss of the distant North Pole, and he faintly roared with red light. He crushed the chip in his palm and the red light pulsated and the residue rolled down between his fingers like blood beads of a defeated dog. The low-frequency buzzing sound was harsh. The vibration in the pocket started again. The fat policeman panted and rushed up the stairs, sweating, and hit the platform with a crackling sound. His legs were weak and he knelt down with the gun barrel slack. His eyes were filled with panic and he was crying, "Captain." An anonymous second threat was reported from the headquarters. The projection of the red letter was twisted, the tip of the iceberg has not yet been exhausted. Li Xiuyu's party Arctic clone pulse 72 little fight back now, your DNA will be silenced forever. We just breathed a sigh of relief, are the remaining gangsters at the top responsible for the trouble? Fat Brother's legs are weak and his heart is burning. It's not enough to catch Li Xiu Bai Ning. The policewoman has a sore throat, black phlegm, and a cough. Her arms are wet, her ponytail is wet, her face is trembling, and she is worshipping, Brother Chen. The exhibition hall is reopened with global likes, and sponsors are apologizing. But this threatens to burn the lungs, and the remaining party's black network eavesdropping is resurrected? Suspicious pressure, Brother Chen's chip red light analysis is 50%, Li Xiu's private server and the remaining party's IP jump to the Arctic quantum shield, the cloning pulse is weak but the hidden backdoor virus hook is planted, Plan B upgrades DNA to match your family's gray. The Arctic fortress roars back, the opening is imminent and the whole city is in danger. Jiang Chen ignored the fear of being shaken by the crowd, and inserted the red light pulse of the terminal in his sneer into the platform interface. The low-frequency buzzing was like the whisper of inner demons, tearing open the quantum shell of the chip, and projecting explosive flashes of blood-red data, spiral-twisting blue arcs, reflecting the demonic shadow. Li Xiuyu's party's three-point heat source locked the brawny technician Russian Eagle Arms disguised warehouse, the remaining balance of €1 million in a hidden account, the rotating Aurora remnants, the Arctic clone archive, weak pulse, and pushed anonymous threat. Automated scripts. The strong man's technician's confession video has been reappeared, and Li Xiu remotely controlled the nano-poisonous gas timing CEO's voice cloning. He laughed with a broken throat and said, "The remaining party members obey the order, Jiang Chen's DNA will be destroyed forever." The fat policeman's gun trembled, his legs were slippery, and the platform was filled with urine. The bone-gnawing death game is coming again. The policewoman was shaking with tears mixed with black phlegm on her shoulders. "Brother Chen, the world is hotly discussed and praised, the countdown to the opening is heartbreaking, and the remaining party is on the verge of revenge." Yiji's flat panel hot melt finger blood code rain, black frame, fog, ponytail, pale face, blue arc gasping, "Brother Chen, it takes a quantum EMP pulse to paralyze the black network, I hacked into the firewall of the remaining party, and the Arctic shield pulse is weak and counterattack is approaching." The neon fragments smashed onto the platform, jingling and burning, and the ozone pungent, Jiang Chen's cold eyes locked on the three-point red eyes of the projected heat map, and the cold order ended like thunder. Yiji, quantum pulse paralyzes the rest of the party's network. Fat policeman, seal off the steel net of the warehouse. Policewoman, escort the brawny man's video live broadcast headquarters. Yiji's eyes widened and the blood marks on her fingertips were flattened with admiration. The board buzzed and hummed, the black frame fog reflected the red light pulsing, her ponytail was sweating and her pale face ghostly roared. She executed, quantum EMP blue arc flash projection, the remaining party IP springboard disconnection sparks flying, Arctic clone pulse weak spasm green fluorescent nano residue self-destruct barb, hidden backdoor virus hook lock deletion watermark misplacement ironclad evidence. The fat police officer climbed up with weak legs, held his gun barrel steady, and worshipped, Captain God, feed the snake. The false signal bit the hook, and the heat source of the remaining party's warehouse froze and stopped the IP blind frequency, and our steel network blocked it. The policewoman had a sore throat and coughed up black phlegm. She burst into tears and threw her arms, Brother Chen is so smart. Yi Ji, the hacker god, paralyzed the Arctic shield and self-destructed, and the remaining party's black network was wiped out. The engine of the maglev car roared and tore through the neon fog, the tires scratched the wet ground and sparkled. The steel door of the abandoned warehouse was rusting and creaking. Inside, the strong man's technician's Russian eagle arm was curled up with a violent pulse. The shadow of the black tower was coughing up blood and urine was filled with smell. The red-eyed drone scattered fragments on the ground, and the blind frequency laser failed and buzzed. His throat was broken and he screamed with the gun in his knees and banged the concrete with sweat, Captain Jiang, spare your life. Li Xiuyu's party ordered me to remotely control the nano backdoor, clone and archive anonymous threats, and automatically send out anonymous threats. 1 million euros of hidden accounts were rotated into the Arctic fortress of the remnants of Aurora, but the true identities of the top executives were not exposed. I uploaded a video of all my moves. Fat policeman shackles, the handcuffs snapped and the strong man's arms trembled and he stared in admiration and burst into tears, Captain, the heat source of the lock. The remaining strong men's knees are weak and they are all paralyzed by the black net. The weak Arctic pulse will destroy us and we are dead. The policewoman with a sore throat rubbed the black phlegm on her fingers and picked at the blood marks on her fingers. She turned around and gasped in admiration, Brother Chen, arrest all the last accomplices. Threats are so exciting. The blue light in the main hall of the exhibition hall pulses warmly, and the audience is buzzing with admiration. Mo Fan's holographic blue-eye projection heat map is crazy with lightning noises and roars. The precognitive eye AI is being tested publicly on the stage, the eagle claw scans the heat source without virus veins, and the nanoweld sulfur path is completely deleted from the log to verify its innocence. Jiang Chen stepped into the windbreaker, looking coldly at the sponsor's projection, gold-rimmed glasses, squinting his face, and beads of sweat rolling down his face. He inserted the video of a strong man into the host, and the low-frequency vibration buzzing projection exploded and peeled off the entire chain, Li Xiu's remote control backdoor fake file, Arctic cloning self-destructing barb, hidden account freezing and irrefutable evidence. The hot picture of Mo Fan's blue eyes pulsating, reflecting Jiang Chen's back and throat, and he worshipped ecstatically, captains and gods have joined forces. The AI works perfectly and predicts the eagle claws to lock the top executive's shadows. The global demonstration is praised and heartburning. I will follow the wisdom and wisdom to the death. The sponsor's representative's legs were soft and he knelt on the platform with his golden silk nose and eyes widened in fear and worshipped low. Roar, Jiang Chen revealed the truth. We were deceived by the Aurora conspiracy and apologized. We will pay 50 million euros to restart the exhibition. VIP guests will present Mo Fan's AI revolution. The audience's eyes widened and they shouted with trembling voices, Team Jiang is famous. The rest of the party captured the AI god and resurrected it. The rebirth of the science and technology exhibition is exciting. The blue arc lights in the underground archives of the headquarters pulsate and change from green to warm white. The air is cold and ozone burning, mixed with the aroma of coffee, slowly filling the air. The quantum data on the wall screen rolls and freezes like a living corpse resting. Bai Ning was lightly sentenced to steel handcuffs and escorted to a steel chair. Her tattooed blue veins turned pale after the rain. She sobbed and shrank her eyes in admiration. She surrendered more. Captain Jiang, Brother Li Xiu led the remaining strong men to remotely control the back door. My assistant signed the poisonous gas chip to record the secret talks of Aurora directors, second 72-hour gray monopoly in the city on AI, high-level iceberg's real body is the mastermind of Arctic cloning. His pseudo-DNA motherline was auto-planted, and I gave him a light sentence in exchange for a full-scale lockup. Yiji's black-framed fog-condensed finger blood sealed the white condensed testimony. The hot melt ponytail neatly reflected the warm light and threw her arms in admiration. Brother Chen, Bai Ning turned over the entire chain of ironclad evidence and the remaining party members, and the chip's bloodline resonance quantum copy locked the Arctic shield. Plan B's DNA match failed and you will be destroyed forever. God crushes you. The fat police officer's gun barrel was loose and his legs were soft and he knelt in the mud and burst into tears. Captain God summary. Bai Ning's brother and sister, the remaining party's strong men are black and gray. The exhibition opens without worries. Jiang Chen looked coldly into the abyss to piece together the final report, and summarize the full evidence of the red light pulsation of the Palm terminal. Li Xiu's terminal exposed 50 VIP agent communication virus downloads, the invisible chip red light fund Russian bank pointed to the North Pole, the AI log timestamp was overheated and misplaced 70 hours before the explosion. The private server Phantom 3.0 synthetic watermark is globally reversed, the floating platform Aurora Golden Eagle. Wreckage alloy seal is matched and exposed, the drone's red I 0.8 Hz KGB coding self-destructs, the poisonous gas signature nanosyringe self-destructs in the car, the sweet black mist of the north wing radiates bone-gnawing evidence chain iron cage. The projector flashed the green light and approved by the top management. The iron-faced director stared at his back with gray hair and steely eyes and worshipped. Jiang Chen, God reports to save the exhibition. Arrest the remaining gang members. The International Aurora Consortium has completely collapsed. The opening of the Science and Technology exhibition has attracted global attention. You have been promoted to the leader of the Special Investigation Team. The peak of fame and status. Deputy Director of Intelligence Black Frame gasped in joy and worshipped. The whole chain is heart-burning, sponsors are pouring in compensation and treasures, and the AI revolution is reborn. Federal Special Envoy Gene C. whispered in admiration, DNA will never destroy the threat, and the detective will forever lock the iceberg. The countdown to the opening of the exhibition hall was filled with pulsating blue light on the holographic screen, and the audience was buzzing with discussion and admiration. The reporter flashed his voice and roared, Jiang Chen's final report is irrefutable. Li Xiu's party has fully grasped the perfection of AI, and Mo Fan's reputation has been wiped out. The Science and Technology exhibition is reborn. Mo Fan's blue eyes on the stage scanned Jiang Chen's hot pictures and he was ecstatic. The captain teamed up to divine prediction, and the eye of prediction has no backdoor. Pulsating and swearing to die. The fat policewoman's legs were weak and she fluttered her arms and burst into tears. Brother Chen is promoted to team leader. It's so great to be famous all over the world, and the rest of the party is so happy. Yiji slapped her shoulders, black frame, foggy ponytail, sweat, pale face and blue arc, shouting, Brother Chen's quantum is fully sealed, the Arctic pulse is weak and the eternal sleep is divine. Bai Ning turned his eyes and cried in admiration, the shadow of the high-level godlock. Jiang Chen was standing on the roof of the exhibition hall of Windbreaker Hunting Station, his cold eyes scanning the crowd of worshippers, and the web of clues in his mind was not exhausted. The Arctic clone had weak pulse but faint roar. Unexpected. The anonymous threat letter vibrating in his pocket projected flashing red letters and twisted like a devil's claw, Jiang Chen, the tip of the iceberg. The high-level real body is approaching, and the whole city will be gray for 72 hours. Your DNA will never die. After the rain, the neon blood light flashed faintly, and he sneered as he crushed the chip in his palm and the red light pulsed, and the hunt started again. Neon blood mist fills the opening countdown holographic screen, and the blue light pulses like a heart spasm. The silver arc of the giant beast in the science and technology exhibition hall roars, twists, and faint red veins rush into the gaps. The sweet residue in the air turns into putrid quantum and burns and pungent. The audience buzzes with heated discussions and surges, stiff throats, and fearful whispers. The opening is divine. The rest of the party is gray. The flying AI is perfect. Why does the blue arc reflect a red shadow? Jiang Chen's divine pressure on the North Pole is weak, and the iceberg is approaching. Our passionate worship turns to be heart-wrenching. The reporter flashed and the waves trembled, his face turned pale and the demon was red, and the fat policeman's leg hit the ground, and the smell of urine filled the platform and he shouted, "Captain! The terminal is red." The light microvessel resuscitates and distorts the projection of DNA Final Hunt. The Arctic clone mastermind roars that the barb will self-destruct in 72 hours. The high-level iceberg's true form is the Russian bank's joint venture Quantum Fortress. It is not enough for us to block the warehouse and arrest the strong man. The black network is paralyzed. The dead end burns the lungs. The ponytail was wet and pale, the blue arc on his face was trembling, and he was sobbing, "Brother Chen, the exhibition hall is reopened, global sponsors kneel down and pay 50 million euros in permanent VIP gifts, but this red vein bites the bones and the sweet taste reappears. The remaining party automatically upgrades the script to clone the master brain and locks your family's DNA. We are almost dead, heartbroken and despairing." Yiji's black-framed fog-condensed finger tapped the hot melt tablet with his blood buzzing and rushed behind the scenes, shaking his ponytail and sweating. The pale ghost screen projected a red code rain and flashed, roaring with a throat obstruction and a crushing sound, "Brother Chen." Quantum EMP locks the backdoor virus hook, but the Arctic shield vein weakly revives to hide the backup. Clone mastermindly shows gene fragment fusion together with the true identity of Aurora CEO, the ultimate DNA of Plan B hunts down your bloodline and your whole family. The satellite Eagle Claw heat scan locks the opening heat source and the 3-point VIP agent restarts. The iceberg approaches the quantum jump for 72 hours, and the whole city has nano-poisonous fog. After the pulsating blue-eyed heat map on the stage, Mo Fan turned to ecstasy and fear. Worshipping and shouting, the captain teamed up with the AI to predict that the Eagle Claw sweep was virus-free, but the red veins of the terminal rushed into the server log and were misplaced. The high-level iceberg's real body, the North Pole, roared to life. We swore to follow Shenji to the death, but our hearts were burned to death. The situation was overwhelming. Bai Ning was released from the steel chair. Turning fearfully, he muttered, "Team Jiang, brotherly Shio cloned the backup mastermind. I signed a poisonous gas-implanted chip and recorded it with Aurora directors. The secret talks have not been completed. The real identity of the senior management is the Russian Eagle KGB blood fusion DNA maternal line forgery. I retracted my confession and got a light sentence. But the red veins gnawed at my throat and the sweet taste reappeared. The remaining party members automatically hunted down and blew up the whole hall. The sponsor's representative's gold-rimmed glasses, slippery nose and soft kneeling platform, beads of sweat rolling down reflected the blue arc, and he roared horribly, "Jiang Chen strictly show you." The entire party chain apologized and compensated for restarting, but the Arctic clone master brain was hunted by red light microvessel projection. Our VIP heat source was locked by the eagle's claws, heartbroken and urinary. 50 The collapse of the 100 million euro Huifei exhibition was a hot topic around the world. The audience's eyes widened with tremors, roars, and screams. The AI god is resurrected and the iceberg is counterattacking. Team Jiang's reputation is so high that the leader of the team approved it. The strong man from the remaining party kneels down and uses the black network to paralyze the North Pole and self-destruct. Why is it so popular? The pulse is revived, the DNA is forever extinguished, we worship and are heartbroken and despairing. The neon fragments clang on the ground, the burning ozone is mixed with the sweet and pungent smell, the fat policewoman's legs are slipping and she is crying, black phlegm is spreading in the urine, Yiji's tablet is filled with sparks, and her fingers are stained with deep blood, and the black frame is cracked by the rain, and her face is a ghost. Lon Hu roared, Brother Chen's quantum firewall jumped strangely, the cloning mastermind roared and merged with 99.99% DNA of brother and sisterly Bai Ning plus the clone gene of Aurora CEO, the ultimate hunting script was automatically pushed to satellite, and the countdown to the opening was overwhelming. Behind the scenes of Jiang Chen's windbreaker hunting station, the cold eyes of the Abyss Lock project distorted red words, DNA final hunt, ignoring the public eyes and shaking the terminal's red light pulse inserted into the host interface. The low-frequency buzzing is like the inner demon tearing the quantum shell. The iron cage of the clue network in the brain is tightened and there is an instant explosion. The weakness of the heat source of the Arctic clone master brain, Li Xiu's private server Phantom 3.0 integration. The watermark is misplaced and fake. It is integrated with Bai Ning's signature to sign for 5 million euros. The satellite jumps to the Russian silver military alloy seal. The Aurora CEO's true identity is KGB bloodline. The strong man's confession video with Russian eagle tattoos overlaps with irrefutable evidence. The DNA maternal line is forged and cloned. The self-destructing barb fails to hide the back door. The red vein source is locked at 72 degrees north latitude of the quantum fortress. The 3-point VIP agent disguises the director's shadow. The corner of his sneer curled up like a razor, and he thundered, Yi Ji, reverse feed the snake quantum virus hook to bite the clone mastermind. Mo Fan, use the eye of foresight and eagle claws to heat scan and lock the vulnerability of the Arctic shield and broadcast it live to the world. Fat policewoman, block the VIP heat source and escort it with a 3-point steel net. Bai Ning, live broadcast, retract the confession and record, expose the CEO's true identity, and change his innocence. Yi Ji's eyes widened in admiration. The blood marks on her fingertips were banged on the tablet, buzzing and flashing. The black frame fog reflected the red veins turning into blue arcs. Her ponytail was sweating and her pale face was ghostly roaring. Execution, the reverse quantum virus blue arc spiraled into the satellite eagle's claws. The Arctic shield pulse was weak and spasmodic. Sparks splashed. The cloning master brain heat source stopped. IP blind frequency. Hidden backdoor. Red light microveins. Autophagic barbs. Watermark misplacement. Ironclad global projection. The fat policeman climbed up with weak legs, held the barrel of his gun, steadied his throat, and worshipped, the captain god feeds the snake against the sky. The 3-point steel mesh of the VIP heat source sealed the director's disguise as a Russian eagle and exposed his arms. We escorted him with weak knees and all moves. The female police officer had a sore throat and coughed up black phlegm. She burst into tears and threw her arms trembling. Brother Chen cleverly suppressed the cloning mastermind. Yi Ji, the hacker god, bit the hook and the red veins flew away, and the DNA hunting script locked and deleted the files. It's so exciting. Mo Fan's blue-eyed hot picture flashed wildly on the stage and the eagle claws were used to lock the Arctic fortress and the projection was broadcast live around the world. The virus-free pulsation of the prophetic eye verified that the cloned mastermind Li Xiu's backup and fusion CEO genes were fully exposed. The audience's eyes widened in admiration and they shouted, Mo Fan's AI is divine. The true form of the Arctic iceberg is peeled off, and Jiang Chen joins forces with the eagle claws to lock the weak points and the world is burning. The white steel chair and the steel handcuffs shattered and sobbed, her eyes widened in ecstasy, her pale tattoos faded away, and the live broadcast retaliated and the recording flashed. Aurora director secretly talked about the second 72-hour gray monopoly AI in the city, the true identity of the top executive iceberg, Arctic clone mastermind KGB blood, Russian bank joint venture. Li Xiu brother and sister teamed up to plant a chip eavesdropping virus to frame the whole chain of ironclad evidence. She worshipped with a throat obstruction and muttered, Captain Zhang's god suppressed the confession. I am not guilty and exposed the true identity of the CEO, red veins eat ashes flying lock, shadow. The sponsor's representative knelt down with his gold-rimmed glasses shattered and his legs were wet with sweat and tears. He shouted in admiration, "Jiang Chen is the god of peeling off the iceberg." The VIP agent pretends to be a director, and we are all ready to apologize. We will increase the amount of 100 million euros to reopen and offer VIP seats forever, and the exhibition will be a new generation of global worship. The reporter flashed his throat and his pen tip shook his sieve and wrote wildly, "The true identity of the top executive is exposed. The mastermind of Arctic cloning is exposed. Jiang Chen's DNA hunts Huifei at the peak of the AI revolution, and technology shows immortality." The projector flashed a green light and the iron-faced director of the high-level headquarters stared at the live broadcast with throat-piercing admiration and roared, "Jiang Chen, God has reversed the cloning of the entire chain of masterminds." The arrest of the real identity of the CEO, the International Aurora Consortium, the Russian Bank of Russia, and the military industry have completely collapsed. The leader of the Special Investigation Team has been promoted to a federal special inspector, his reputation is at the top of the universe, and he has been sealed by the Global Technology Alliance. The Deputy Intelligence Bureau gasped in joy and turned to worship the screen. "Quantum feeding snakes are heart-burning, praise it. The treasures that help the business are pouring in and the AI is reborn without worries." Jinsei, the federal envoy, murmured in admiration, "DNA will forever destroy the threat ash, and the detective will forever lock the iceberg of the universe." The fat policewoman fluttered her arms and burst into tears in worship. "Brother Chen is promoted to the special level. The death situation is so good that the rest of the party leaders are in ashes and their lungs are burning." Yi Ji slapped her shoulders, black frame, fog, ponytail, sweat, pale face and blue arc, shouting, "Brother Chen, quantum fully sealed clone, eternal sleep god, crushes my heart and worships." At the opening of the exhibition hall, the behemoth's silver arc blue light pulsed perfectly, and the audience buzzed with admiration like the ocean waves. Flashes shot wildly at the holographic screen. MO Fan's AI demonstration heat map eagle claws swept the heat source, virus-free, global praise and heartburn. MO Fan's pulsating blue eyes reflected Jiang Chen's back and throat, and he worshipped ecstatically. Captain God joins hands with the eyes of foresight to lock the shadow of the universe, and the AI revolution will follow to the death to offer wisdom and eternal life. Jiang Chen walked into the main hall in a windbreaker and glanced coldly at the audience to admire the sea, sneering at the end of the palm. The final report of the end of the green light, Bai Ning's brother and sister, the rest of the gang, the strongman CEO cloned the mastermind, the whole chain iron cage, the DNA forgery virus blamed the Arctic shield, the self-destructing barb watermark was misplaced, the hidden account was frozen, the Russian bank military industry was exposed, the nano-poisonous gas sulfur path log verified innocence, the floating platform Aurora Golden Eagle alloy seal was globally reversed, the drone's red-eyed EMP fragments, the satellite Eagle Claw was frozen, the full certificate summary saved the exhibition, 20 people were injured and died, and no new shadows were added. The air is fresh and ozone mixed with the aroma of coffee slowly fills the air. The blue arc lamp pulses strangely and turns warm and white like a new life. The windbreaker is hunting on the top platform of Jiang Chen Station. The cold eyes are locked in the abyss in the distance. The red light pulse is weak and sleeps in the direction of the North Pole. The low roar is lingering. The iron cage of the Clue network in his mind tightens and grows like a blade. From the leader of high-tech crime team to the federal special inspector, the IQ crushes more than just Li Xiuyu. The party has insight into the iceberg of the universe, partnered with Yi Ji as a hacker. MO Fan AI vowed to die. Bai Ning retracted his confession and locked up the shadow. The fat policewoman under his subordinates worshipped and broke his heart, and became famous in the Global Technology Alliance, and his heart struggled to turn his iron will. The double-edged sword of technology is out of control. The conspiracy will never end. Saving the exhibition is only the tip of the iceberg. The truth is revealed, but a bigger shadow is coming. Unexpected. The low-frequency buzzing of the terminal reappeared, and the over-frequency red veins hidden deep in the quantum shell flashed. The red-eyed heat source outside the Arctic outer fortress pulsed at 5 new points. The projection was distorted and the blood-red writing faintly flashed. At the end of the iceberg, the black hole of the universe is hunting, your DNA, eternal reincarnation. Neon blood burst through the gaps in the platform, and the ozone burned his nose. He sneered and palmed the EMP blue arc to overload and hunt for the pinnacle of the universe. The windbreaker hunter turned and walked into the fog, and the blue-eyed abyss locked the new battlefield. Unconsciously, the audience was buzzing with admiration. Yi Ji threw her arms at the black-framed mist and roared, "Brother Chen, a new pulse." The fat policewoman's legs softened and she followed him in admiration. Mo Fan's blue eyes heated up and he predicted the shadow. Bai Ning's eyes shrank and turned happy. The new technology exhibition was praised by the world, but Jiang Chen's hunting road will never end. Behind the scenes of Jiang Chen's windbreaker hunting station, his cold eyes scanned the opening of the behemoth's silver arc, the blue light pulsing perfectly, and the iron cage of the clue network in his mind was tightened. Unexpected. The low-frequency hum of the terminal shook the marrow, and the hidden backdoor program remained with a red light microvein. The Arctic clone roared and revived, and the projection distorted red letters flashed. The true form of the iceberg is approaching, the opening showdown, your DNA, the final hunt. The neon blood light flashed, and he sneered and precharged the EMP blue arc, and the hunt began again.